What the fuck? Oh, dude, I started the stream and my camera's not even up and running. What is going on here? Dude, how did this happen? I was like, my camera was like good for a second, and then it was like, listen here, you little gay boy. There we go. There we go. Now we got it up and running. I had a massive. I'm massively sick right now, guys. Massively sick. Ugh. But we got a bunch of drama. We got a bunch of stuff. I'm not doing any lore today. Listen here, you little. We're gonna be doing some fun drama, stuff that I can slop out on the week and have a real good fun with. And I got a good variety here. I actually don't have. I mean, I have some Hassan adjacent stuff, but I'm trying to move away from Hassan, anything Hassan related, denims related. I think I've covered that to death. I think it's done. I'm really just kind of bored with it, to be honest. Like, I personally, in my off time, like hearing the downfalls, but I'm kind of sick of covering it on the channel. But for the most part, I got some stuff here. The closest I got is this iDubbbz thing, which we will get to. But what? Oh shit! Let's make sure that's not playing in the background. Actually, we'll just start with this. So, I have covered Hassan on the channel quite a bit, and the Ethan drama quite a bit, because it's the main drama going on, and I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. I'm a little annoyed. I'm done. But one of my favorite people to clown on, one of the mainstays early on my channel. I remember one of the first kind of commentary videos I made was on iDubbbz. I don't like him. I've never really liked iDubbbz. I thought the content cop thing was like okay, right? The content cop thing was okay, but he's not funny anymore. He's not entertaining. He's got nothing. And he's willing to sell anybody up the river to make himself look good. And I also think that I don't care what you say about that stream he did to make the money back for the charity. The fact that they mismanaged the money so bad that he had to do that just shows that like he doesn't know what he's doing, and they were just trying to look cool. They're like, "Oh, look, we're doing stuff for charity." You can't talk bad about it. Oh, I'm having drama with Froggy Fresh over nothing. But oh, let me make a quick Froggy Fresh video. It's the only advertising I've done for this whole event. And then just put like people up in high-end suites and stuff. And then, oh, where did all the money go? Well, it's gone. But yeah, we got iDubbbz back. Creator Crash 3 is coming up soon, which nobody cares about. Absolutely no one. The fight cards are like retarded. They're absolutely retarded. But then we got iDubbbz backstabs H3H3. And I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, because, I mean, Ethan has stood up in defense of these two morons more times than anybody could believe. And I think that they kind of were in that same mindset, which I've criticized, where they were pulling the ladder up, where they were like, oh, we disavow all our old content, we hate our old audience, you guys all suck and you're stupid and you have my negative brain cells. And now they're wondering why they don't get the same viewership. But Ethan's kind of moving away from this weird left wing, like full hardcore left wing direction he was heading, kind of realizing these people are crazy. And that's what happens anytime. Even when you get these people to go like full far right, once you hit that extremism where you're listening to like Nick Fuentes or Hassan, you realize you should course correct immediately. But let's see what this backstabbing's all about.
There you go. This is for a very specific subset of people who are very upset in my DMs.
Yeah, so Ethan's upset with I think some of our connections, and you know, we've tried to reach out to Ethan to talk privately. Basically, it just seems like we're at a bit of an impasse, so we want to stay out of the.
By the way, why are we using like old socks? You know those socks that you use when you're like in middle school and you get all crusty because they were just a collection sock? Why did they cut those up and use them for mic arm covers?
As much as possible. We don't want to pile on and add to anything. So this is our, you know, lukewarm addressing of it. It's, you know, we're always open to.
I love how you can tell she's more annoyed than he is. This is how every time these two sit in a room, you got iDubbbz kind of downplaying stuff, trying to just be the I exist and I don't want to cause drama guy, and then Anise is over here just ready to cause problems.
Talk privately, especially, and yeah, we'll the door's always open.
Yeah, the door is always open. I want to like really drive it home. We don't condone harassment of any kind.
This is absolutely pathetic in every possible way, and we're gonna have to talk about it. Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is
Bro
Sean.
came in so hard, dude. He busted the door in and just started spraying his meat stick like a fire hydrant. Dear God.
And in a recent video, we talked about how the escalation from people in Jenks Nephew's fan base, in the streamer Denim's fan base, and a bunch of other online creators against Ethan Klein has gotten to absurd degrees, in that they are now calling in fake child protective services claims in order to have Ethan investigated as well.
Yeah, this is such an easy thing for me. I've seen people like come in and like come after, like every time I make a video on this type of stuff, I get endless comments. Not endless, I mean I'm not that big, but I get a decent amount of comments where it's like, oh well, genocide or destiny or whatever. It's always like some sort of straw man argument, and it's like, dude, how are you protecting these people that are legitimately doing some of the most scummy, worst things imaginable? Once you brought the kids into it, dude, outski, bro. I'm outski. There is no way I will ever be on the same level as you. There was no way I will ever look at Denims and think of her as a reliable talking head because of the fact that she downplayed the fact that CPS got called on his kids. That's just gross.
As trying to get him committed, and how Ethan has had absolutely enough. And you don't need to know all that much about the characters in today's video. This is iDubbbz and his wife Vanessa, other than the fact that they have been friends, and specifically Ian, iDubbbz, has been friends with Ethan for well over a decade, and throughout the course of them discussing this on their podcast, because they went through a reformation where they became woke as well, they have decided to backstab Ethan. iDubbbz has decided to call an end to...
Let's be real, though. Hold on. Every time I see this go woke as well, I mean, everyone in this little section is woke. Like, they're all leftists. These are all leftist creators. Ethan is still a very leftist creator. I think a lot of people are missing the fact that because he has problems with Hasan, that makes him not a leftist anymore. Dude's still wildly a leftist. He's still 100% is like full left, and it's so crazy to me that he's calling out like the most popular left-wing streamer. That makes him not left-wing anymore. That's asinine, and it belittles his arguments and why his video was so good on Hasan is because he's coming at it from a leftist perspective of this guy's an extremist, which is the important part of it. And I think there's a lot of people that are scared because of the radical left, like streamers and stuff. A lot of the like normal left-wing people, and I would call, I guess, iDubbbz more progressively left, and you look at like some of these other people that might have been just more for free speech, just doing your own thing, saw this rising of like insane identity politics stuff we got going on, and they all of a sudden started like taking a backseat, like, don't look at my back catalog because it's a little edgy and scary. I'm this guy now I'm more virtuous than you. That's how I can make fun of you, is because I'm better and I'm more socially conscious than you, and you're a racist. Yeah, that's what they've kind of been building their stuff off of, which I think is gross. I'm always for free speech. Dang, Savannah's going hard. My daughter's just going hard in the other room. She's learned how to scream like a champ. Like, she just keeps doing it. It's like a new thing.
Harassment on all sides, not specifically condemn efforts of these people who are attacking Ethan and trying to get investigations launched into him in order to take his children away from him over a petty disagreement on politics. It's absolutely crazy from top to bottom, and we're gonna break it down. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
We don't condone...
That was mad cringe. And I also hate just this like whole thing where we put woke on everything. I think it's so dumb. Because it's lost all meaning behind like the original point, where it was like it was like, quit shoving like identity politics and bad writing into everything to highlight only the identity politics. That's when I originally started hearing about the woke stuff. It was like, oh, we need to be culturally relevant. We need to make sure everybody else is culturally relevant. And you started seeing in shows where you were getting lectured instead of it actually, like, you look at a movie like Dirty Dancing, right? A movie like Dirty Dancing where there is underlying plot point about abortion. It is there. It's a very pro-abortion movie. And then you get to like the end of the movie and you can watch the whole movie and forget about the whole abortion arc and still think it's a really good movie. Like, oh, look at all the dancing, the love story with Patrick Swayze. This is good. I had fun. It's not like beating you over the head with the messaging, right? But then you look at some of the stuff we're getting now where it'll stop the film to have a monologue telling you how much of a stupid fucking gay little retard you are, right? And I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. I would rather you just build it into the narrative, and then I won't fucking critique it. I mean, that was my problem with, I bring it up all the time, Immortals of Avion, was because the game stopped you to lecture you. And I can't stop getting distracted by how annoyingly these fucking cum rag mic stand covers are. These are fucking disgusting looking. This is the most retarded looking setup I've ever seen.
Harassment.
We don't condone harassment of any kind.
Of any kind, okay, period. Which is why we have not stuck our foot in any of this, because it is not productive. I don't think it's helpful.
So look, I gotta be perfectly honest with you guys out there in the audience. When I first saw the clips of Ian iDubbbz and his wife Anissa doing this, oh, we're not really gonna take a stand thing, Ethan probably has mental issues and whatnot, and we're not gonna back him up kind of deal, I thought that there had to be more context that proved that these people weren't as cowardly and as weak.
Well, and here's my thing too. Okay, we don't want to put, this is our friend, but we don't want to put a foot in the side here. He's coming off as unhinged. It's like, I'm sorry, you guys released this the day, like, it was like 2 days later you find out that they're like going after his kids and stuff. Like, I don't know the exact timeline, if this was right after or right before that came out. But the fact of the matter is, you're out here defending somebody who's like, you're not gonna defend your own friend. You know how hard fucking Ethan went in for iDubbbz on his little public image change run, where he was the first place that he came on a podcast and he started talking about how he was changed now and he wasn't gonna do the same type of content, and the guy that was like fucking like singing all his praises, that was Ethan Klein. And I criticized both of them at like I've talked in the past about how I thought both of these guys were pussies at that time, and how you could take your own audience and what you've cultivated because of your actions, and now they're the bad guys, how you villainize your audience. And I thought that was they were gross and stupid, but I'm not like, I still understood that they're friends and they're doing what they're being like friends to each other. And now once one of them gets in drama, look at the other one just send him up a creek. Oh, well, he's got mental problems. Well, he's got this. No, that's fucking like, dude, after the dude came out and has supported you time and time again, and you do this shit, nah, you're a pussy, bro.
As they were presented in the Twitter clips. So I went to the original.
Again, though, I do want to say the fact that they came out against harassment is really good, because that was more than Denims did. That was more than Denims did. Denims was just kind of downplayed the harassment, which is fucking disgusting. And I think one thing that if I were Hassan, right, and I saw this shit bubbling, even though we had beef, I would know at one time we were friends, and though we might have ideological differences, he was still my friends, and I would go out of my way and say, listen, we might have ideological differences, but I still want you to know that going after his kids is wrong and disgusting, and you guys should all take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're a disgusting little fucking piece of shit. You guys are a bunch of fucking weird spurg retards, and you need to stop. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done personally. I just think that I don't care if we're in a beef or whatever. I think that you have to be the bigger man and not be not allow this shit, people from your audience to do this shit. Because it's people from Denims and Hassan's audience that are doing this shit, and like Bad Empanada. These are the fucking guys that are running this entire fucking cabal against Ethan's like personal life, and it's gross, dude. You should never, once you see that there's been swatting, once you see that there's been stuff like the CPS thing, I feel like you have a responsibility to, as a creator, to come out and say, you need to stop harassing these people. You need to, like, make a standalone video about it. You need to just addressing the Ethan Klein situation, which... Let me see if it, like, before I get disingenuous, right? Before I get like too bad, let's do a little research here. Let's do a little bit of let's look up Hassan's channel. Let's look up Hassan's channel and see if he has addressed the CPS thing. I got canceled. It's fucked. Happens too often. I am king. Trump. I'm apolitical now. What? No, he's not. He's like the most fucking far left person in the world. Nothing. Not a single video saying let's talk about the Ethan Klein situation. Not fucking one. This is how you know he's a disingenuous piece of shit. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Now let's look at Denim's, right? Let's look at Denim's channel. Let's see if her channel's Denim's. What the fuck happened to her channel, bro? She removed all of the videos on her channel. What the fuck? She's got one video on her. This is the real Denim's channel, right? Like, what the fuck? She got rid of her entire channel? Like, this has got to be her. No, this can't be her. This can't be her, dude. There's not enough subscribers, right? Denim's channel. Dude, why is there only one? That's it? Is this it? The whole channel is there's nothing. So this is it. I made this. Okay. So she deleted her entire channel. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, so that's how you know these people are fucking just, instead of, she kept the liar, Feld, she kept the liar Feld video, deleted everything else off of her channel that made her look bad, that made her look like a fucking monster, and is doubling down on just Ethan being wrong. That's how you know these people are fucking disgusting. Now let's go to iDubbbz's channel, because these guys are obviously in hiding. Let's see iDubbbz. Let's go to his actual channel and see if he addresses iDubbbz TV. Let's go to iDubbbz TV.
What do you...
Let's see here. Creator Kosh is back. Nobody gives a fuck. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Nothing. His channel... God, his channel's just fucking sad, dude. He's got such a fucking sad channel. I mean, that you might be like, oh, well, your channel's not much better. I mean, yeah, dude, you're right. But I didn't make this fucking stupid bullshit. Any of this shit. This was like the weakest fucking half-assed, non-content cop. Like, if he would have made a content cop on some of these right-wing guys, that would have been funny, dude. Like, he doesn't put in the effort he used to put in. If he would have actually, like, gone in and just, like, morphed content cop into his new thing, but he's kind of pigeonholed himself. But, dude, look at that. Look at that. Absolutely no accountability. No accountability whatsoever. No, like... Nobody coming out and standing up for their friends just because you will like have like some ideological differences. You're not willing to put those aside to stand up for the fact that your friend is getting attacked by zealots in your audience. It's so fucking easy. Look at this. Listen, guys. don't harass him. If you're the type of person that's calling CPS, I don't want you in my audience. I don't want to see that rhetoric in my stream chat. I don't want to see any of that type of stuff. Ethan, I've met Ethan. He's not a bad guy. Like, why would the fuck have these guys worked with him time and time again if he was this bad of a guy, right? And it's only because now he's coming out and saying something. This is just ridiculous.
Podcast, which, by the way, not doing all that well in terms of viewership and the like to dislike ratio, and it turns out the additional context makes it even worse. And again, what I need to emphasize is that Ethan had been friends with Ian, the iDubbbz guy, for over a decade. He's been friends with the wife ever since he met her and was a girlfriend, which probably is around a decade, and Ian has decided that he's not going to back him up when the harassment on Ethan has gotten to the level where they're calling in fake child abuse complaints against him, launching investigations into Ethan and his family. Very intrusive investigations that we talked about in a previous video.
And these are real people who have real feelings.
I think I want to pivot this into something that I don't think I didn't touch on it in my apology video many years ago. Mm-hmm. Was it many years ago? Was it 1 year ago?
A few.
Yeah. I think in that video there was I had a lot of feelings, and like I think the most obvious one that and message that like made the most sense to people was me apologizing for slurs and just being generally insensitive.
Dude, I fucking hated when I did my first iDubbbz where it was that apology was so fucking fake, dude. It was so fucking fake. The whole thing was about how he's more virtuous, and then 2 fucking days later, it felt like, or like a week later, he makes a fucking like weak ass content comp. I'm not gonna attack creators anymore, and then a week later does exactly what I said he was gonna do, and fucking do a content comp on Froggy Fresh. It's just like he's using virtue now to like show that he's better than everybody, and it's just so fucking pathetic. The I'm sorry, and then everybody was like defending, oh, you just want him to go back to saying slurs. I'm like, no, I don't give a fuck. I just don't like this this backhanded bullshit that he's doing now compared to when he was actually in your face. That's the only difference. Now he's pretending like these are actual critiques, when before they weren't actual critiques. He was being mean. It's so fucking retarded.
To minority groups and people in general.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I maybe should have added to that, but I think it was kind of like implied if you're really like looking for it, is the harassment. I think harassment online is like, you know, we felt it. We felt plenty of it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of why there's been a shift in my content, is because it's not healthy for people's brains, and it like doesn't get you anywhere. Like,
so this is probably one of the most disgusting portions of the entire segment. First and foremost, Anissa, iDubbbz's wife, the woman featured right here, posted on Instagram.com, which is referenced multiple times in the comments, that she doesn't owe Ethan anything. So she has taken a side. The side that she's taking is Cenk's nephew's side, that particular side. And the idea that you're going to say we don't endorse all harassment, like blanketly, when the situation is Ethan disagrees with Cenk's nephew politically. He makes a video based on the misstatements and the support of terrorist organizations, by the way, called the Content Nuke, and the response to that is for them to target his children, to launch a CPS investigation based on a phony abuse tip. And you're like, well, we don't support harassment on either side. No, one of these is greatly different.
Dude, it's so fucking dumb where they do the either side thing too, especially where it's like Hassan does this every single time he gets in a drama. He refuses to watch any of the videos about him that are made. He refuses to, like, if I were to have somebody come out and make a video about me, like make a takedown of me, I'm watching it on my channel. It's free content, baby. I am going to see it, and if there's some stuff that it's like actually calling me to the stage, and I'm like, wow, dude, I didn't even think about it that way. Maybe I'll get a new perspective from it, right? But I'm going to watch it. I'm going to engage with it because I think it'll be fun. It's good for content. Hassan won't even do that because he's so scared that somebody in his audience will see this type of stuff and they will realize that the person they're following is a brainlet idiot, right? And as much as I'm kind of sick of this Hassan thing and I really want this to focus more on iDubbbz, I know that this is like the drama and this will probably be the last time I touch it unless something else crazy jumps up. But it's just so weird to me how people will just like go and fully defend this guy and be so crazy in like the position of this crazy fucking weirdos. But then a dude's over here makes an actual breakdown of somebody who he used to be friends with, saying these are the things that he's doing that's disgusting and disingenuous, and I think that this needs to be called out. Having the spine to do that. I'm not the biggest Ethan Klein fan. I've said it a million times. I've said it in this video. But I do respect that he was willing to not just stay quiet. There are so many people that, because it's not like he did anything that was brand new. Ethan didn't do anything that Willie Mac Show hasn't done, Turkey Tom hasn't done, fucking Destiny, Crowder, Ben Shapiro. I'm sure all of them have had their own takedowns of Hassan. I'm pretty sure everyone has fucking talked about Hassan. But the one that really hit was Ethan because he was friends with him. And the fact that they were friends and he could show the clips from his podcast, say, this is the full context, don't let them lie to you, that this is fucking going on. And because of that, it's shaken up this little fucking social media circle jerk that they've had going. And it's fracturing this weird little fucking progressive protection space that they've been living under, and that's what scares them.
Scale to the other. One of these people you've known for a very long time, and while iDubbbz has spent maybe the last 5 years apologizing for ever being funny on the internet.com, Ethan has backed him every step of the way in public, and forcefully so. While people were attacking iDubbbz, saying that his wife Anissa ruined him, that she basically turned him into a weak, cowardly loser, Ethan backed her up as well. He said she was cool. He endorsed her. So Ethan has always had these people's backs, and by contrast, Jenk's nephew had shamed iDubbbz as an evil white racist and all sorts of other nonsense as a pipeline to the alt-right that was just never true in any way, shape, or form. But of course, because these people have embraced the woke, all forms of humanity, all forms of human connection.
Bro, I fucking hate when anybody says the woke. It's so stupid. It just sounds fucking stupid. It's washed. We need to get rid of it. Like, it has gotten too fucking annoying. We need to cut it out of vocabulary. It is cringe. It's like watching a bread tuber call everybody racist. It's just such a blanket fucking buzzword. I'm so annoyed with it.
Connection are done with because Ethan has left the cult. And again, what Ethan left the cult on, as I've emphasized multiple different times on this channel, was not that Ethan is pro-Israel and the cult is pro-Palestine. It's that Ethan, who 98% agrees with the pro-Palestinian position, was upset that his friend, Jenk's nephew, would not condemn calls for the murder of every single Jew in Israel. Now, Ethan's wife is Israeli. Ethan has in-laws that are in Israel. He lived in Israel for 5 years. So you can understand why he won't support people that refuse to condemn those who call for the death of all the people that are in his wife's family, all the people that he knows in Israel.
This is absolutely 100% correct. It's so nuts to me that people are acting like Ethan's like this far right guy when he agrees with 90% of what everything they're saying. Just let's not support terrorism. Let's not tote for fucking murdering everybody. Let's find a better solution. Like that's all. Like Ethan's like pro-Palestine to like the almost the same degree. He just doesn't want like the like vitriol against the Jewish people that's going on right now. He doesn't like that everybody's being anti-Semitic with fucking protection. He doesn't like that we're supporting, or not we're, but they're supporting terrorism. Like this is like this is like common sense shit, dude. I don't understand how we're even in a weird place where, like, if I were iDubbbz, I would look at fucking Hassan, because it's logical, be like, you know, he's a little fucking crazy. I think Ethan might be right on this. I would have watched the content nuke because he's my friend, and he put out, like, a quality video. I'm like, oh, shit, Ethan and Hassan are having drama? What's going on with this? And then seeing all that shit, I'll be like, bro, maybe we should take a step. I mean, Hassan already was a dick to me. Why the fuck would I support this guy?
But again, that was enough for them to take it to such an extreme level that they harassed Ethan for a year, and now they're targeting his family. They're ending up attacking them through the use of child protective services, wasting government resources in order to do so. And in response, iDubbbz, this absolute weak coward who's been friends with Ethan for over a decade, who has had his back for over a decade, has decided to say, you know what, I condemn all the harassment on all sides, and we just want to stay out of it, and we'll reach out privately. And Ethan's a little bit upset because my wife said we don't owe him anything because we're taking the other side, we're just too cowardly to do so. But you know, it's just we don't want to stay in this drama content. I mean, when your kids are,
dude, it's so annoying because like this is exactly why Ethan has been out like backing up. Ethan and iDubbbz have been doing this fucking "we're better now" thing for so long and have had each other's dicks in hands for the longest time. And then once one gets in drama, oh well, we can't support him. Like, nah, fuck you, dude. Ian was in drama time and time again, and Ethan was there to back him up. I mean, he literally fucked up an entire fucking event for charity. He fucked it up so bad that he had to do like a please give me money stream so he could pay back the fucking charity. And Ethan still supported him, still fought for him. But you can't see that a fan base is attacking Ethan's kids and step in. You're a fucking pussy. You're a little bitch, bro.
Under investigation, and you're under investigation for abuse.
And one more thing, I know I'm pausing again. I don't like anybody who can't stand for anything. And that's what iDubbbz reminds me of, is he doesn't stand for anything. He will come out, make some blanket, boring statements where he thinks he will get some progressive brownie points, and then go back to being quiet. And everything he does is like, well, you can't make fun of Creator Crash 2 because it was for charity. Yeah, you can, dude. You fucked it up so royally that you had to do a fucking beg stream. You had a DSP. You had to do a DSP stream to remake the money you fucked up on. It's like the dude stands for nothing until a drama hits him, and then he tries to look more virtuous and he throws a bunch of buzzwords at it and then tries to move on. It's so pathetic. He's such a pathetic individual.
Over the fact that you took an actually reasonable position, that's just drama content when you leave the cult. And again, I shouldn't be surprised by this. I remember when Ana Kasparian took some very normal positions politically, and all these different various lefties came out of the woodwork in order to backstab her, in order to push themselves up. So we should not be surprised that iDubbbz is doing the same. And by the way, a bunch of different people in the comments, and if you watch this show, you're probably somebody who stuck with iDubbbz through all the different controversies that he's been through, are saying, we supported you this whole time, but this is a bridge too far. And it is a bridge too far. This is scumbaggery to the nth degree. But again, this is your brain on leftism. Ethan disagrees.
Well, I don't even think it's just leftism. I think it's just being a pussy. I think that they're afraid of Hasan's power. I think that they're afraid that by coming out against Hasan and how big he is, that they're going to attract ire from the Hasan fan base. And like, to be honest, it is quite intimidating when you make a video on Hasan and you just get fucking berated, and they fucking like just won't shut up. They're annoying. They just keep showing up, and that's what a lot of these people are afraid of, because he's got this cult-like fan base. And I think that if you're gonna be out here and be a pussy about that shit, it's like most of the stuff that I've critiqued Hasan on isn't about, like, I'm not here saying, oh, well, you can't be a leftist or whatever. I don't like extremism. And I'm not, like, I think it's funny. Like, one thing that happened last night, I said that the Sam Hyde clip was funny, where he was, like, doing the fucking Irish accent, and he was just all angry, and it was funny. It was funny. I'm sorry. Sam Hyde's first and foremost a comedian. Now, do I agree with everything Sam Hyde's ever said? No. I know he's a comedian first and foremost, and I know that some of his content kind of dips into that far right end zone, and I'm not really in love with all of that, but he is funny from time to time, and he is a comedian first and foremost. And you go in, you hear him doing the goofy voice, you see what's going on, you're like, it's a bit. Hasan will say fucking crazy shit, get called out on. He's like, oh, well, did you not just get that it was a joke? When you can go and watch his shit and see the chat, and it's all like fucking snapping fingers and jerking off to what he's saying, but then once it's a drama, then it's a joke. And I hate that shit. I hate it so much because it's not the same comparison. It's not the same issue, and it's the same type of shit that Nick Fuentes does, where he'll say something absolutely fucking abhorrent, but then all of a sudden, oh, Nick Fuentes is just joking around. No, he's not, dude. These guys are fucking not cool. They're not cool. They're extremist weirdos.
With a ridiculous pro-terrorist position put forward by Jank's nephew, and you think that's equivalent to these people gathering up in all these different online communities and targeting Ethan and putting up a fake Child Protective Services investigation in order to intrude on their lives and potentially get their kids taken away.
The last thing that they needed, and this is my attitude, like, full stop on this period. The last thing somebody who's going through something like that needs is more eyes on it and more like people weighing in, right? And like that's why I'm kind of angry that we even have to like talk about it here. Is that like whether or not
so this shit happens and you don't call it out. Denims makes a giant fucking thing downplaying it. She's gonna keep talking about it. You got Bad Empanada blatantly lying about the situation where he's using the lawsuit that Ethan's going through with his housemaid that has nothing to do with his kids at all, but utilizing that to create a false narrative around the fact that his kids are like crawling through shit every 2 seconds, which isn't true, and all because he adopted a dog that had Giardia, where his kid never actually got Giardia. Never actually got it. But we're going to craft narratives and use like other random bullshit to create a grander narrative that he's this bad fucking parent where they're actually out there lying and it's gotten to the point where their CPS is getting called on you and you're not going to call this shit out? Where we're just going to protect them all because, well, it might be bad for the movement. Go fuck the movement, dog. Fuck the movement. If you're willing to lie and be this disgusting because somebody has a light ideological difference with you, you're a fucking little pussy piece of shit. And these people fucking suck because of this. You're a bunch of fucking taint wagons, cum goblins, and I don't like you.
not people who are in it right now realize it on any side, the more people who weigh in, the more people who add to the conversation, the more people who amplify it, the worse that it gets. We were in it. And at the time when we were in it and we wanted...
This is so calculated. This is so calculated. I do this from time to time. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I try to craft my language and stuff so that I'm not just coming out and being just super disingenuous from one side. I want to make sure that I hold account. When I do a video like this, I want to hold accountable people like Nick Fuentes and your Nick Fuenteses, your Baked Alaskas. I want it to be known that I fucking hate those guys as well, because there's and your Destinies, it's like, oh yeah, Destiny will fucking lie and be a disgusting fuck for his side. Plain and simple. Most of these political guys are that way. And that's my point, is I try to be calculated to an extent, but she's trying to be so calculated because she doesn't want to offend the Hasan fan base. When this isn't about politics anymore. This has gone past the zone of politics. We are no longer talking about politics anymore. We are talking about people's livelihoods. We're talking about internet drama now becoming so bad, so fucking disingenuous that it is now like affecting this man's kids. Your guys' fucking friends' kids. That's what we're talking about here. This isn't about like, oh, sides and political ideology. No, this is fucking, oh, he disagreed with him. He showed Hasan's craziness on a thing, and now you have Hasan's orbiters literally going after this dude's kids, which is fucking gross.
Referring to us kind of going through a hard time on the internet, being harassed, videos made about us, people weighing in.
People still make...
And yo, who the fuck was there for you, buddy? You talked about it everywhere. You two fucking dipshits literally to like few months ago were calling out the commentary community. You were complaining that people were racist coming up to you saying the N-word. You were complaining about harassment every fucking little chance you get. This is the pot calling the kettle fucking black. You fucking cum goblins are ridiculous. You fucking AIDS dragon tsunami monsters.
Videos about us. And at the time, before like we got help, before we went to therapy, like, yes, there was this attitude of like, why the fuck aren't people saying things? Why the fuck is no one like saying how wrong this is? Like, of course we had anger about that, but like,
you did. You came out and like were fucking blasting everybody. You guys were very angry for a very long time. And you know who had your back throughout that entire arc? Ethan fucking Klein. You fucking pathetic. These guys are like the worst. The worst. They're the type of people that would sell their own friends up the river just for brownie points on the internet, which I think we're getting to a point where we're starting to see this shit. I mean, it was already, I think everybody already knows how fucking pathetic like iDubbbz and Anissa are, but it's just like to show that even the people that were friends with them, you can't be friends with these type of people now. You know for a fact you don't want to be friends with them because at any moment they're going to send you up the river because you might do one thing that might upset them.
We had to, now that we've gone to therapy and we've worked through all these things, like, one, the videos have not stopped, right? The comments about us have not stopped. What has stopped is me caring about it, me looking at it. And when you get the help and you realize that this is like something that you cannot control at all and it doesn't have to affect your life, that's the only way it gets better.
Yeah.
Things piling on, things adding to it, people weighing in, people throwing punches for you, does not help.
I mean, again, what is this weak nonsense?
Dude, I love that they're bringing it up too. I love that they're bringing up their problems and their harassment that they've dealt with. And oh, well, you just gotta, like, now we know that we can just look away from it. It's so, this is all you have to do, right? This is all you have to do. Like, I'll take the example I used earlier with Sam Hyde. You know, I thought the Sam Hyde Hassan clip is hilarious, but all of the fucking crazy far right shit that Sam Hyde says, I disavow that. Whoa, dude. Whoa, fucking. Whoa, dude. It's so hard. You can take people that, even if you're a fan of them, you could take the stance that, well, you know, I like Denims. I think Denims is pretty hot, but and I like most of the things she says, but the fact that she's downplayed and kind of condoned the harassment of Ethan Klein's children, I think is fucking disgusting. Wow, dude. You can have a nuanced fucking opinion. This fucking, like, ideologically captured by an audience and a creator thing, this parasocial behavior, is fucking pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Oh, well, you're worried about this crazy. They're worried about this crazy. They saw the harassment that happened to Ethan Klein. Know that they've been attached to Ethan Klein at the hip for so long that they're scared they're going to get lumped into it, which is already probably happening to a bit. People were waiting for them to probably say something in their little weird niche of the woods. We're scared that they were going to lose some fan base because of it. So they fence rode. She spread her pussy lips and grabbed the top of that fence as hard as she fucking can. And iDubbbz spread his butthole and grabbed the fence as hard as he could. And they are locked the fuck in and they don't want to take sides. And by not taking sides, not saying that they're not taking sides, their language here, pretending to not take sides, is literally against them. Everything is sounding like, well, Ethan just needs to stop taking this shit serious. How the fuck can he stop taking it serious when they're like, they have CPS showing up at it? This isn't people criticizing Anissa, like, where, oh, Anissa, you ruined iDubbbz. This isn't that shit. This isn't that same bullshit where iDubbbz is getting made fun of because he's married to an OnlyFans girl. This isn't that same shit. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
Your friend, somebody you've known for 10 years, somebody that I don't know, somebody that I'm not even a fan of, Ethan Klein, is being harassed by this rabid mob who are going in and trying to intrude on his personal life. They're calling in threats, they're calling in fake abuse claims to CPS, and you're talking about how, oh, I remember when I was getting harassed for stuff related to minority groups and yada yada yada. Shut up, iDubbbz. Honestly, shut the hell up. You faced some online commentary. You faced some people who didn't like that you were were actually funny at one point in time, and now you're comparing that and saying, oh, that's basically the equivalent of the harassment that Ethan's getting, which is in the real world. It's real world harassment. It targets him, it targets his wife, it targets his 3 children, age 5 and under, and that's like the same thing. And I don't feel like Ethan, who definitely did publicly have my back, had my wife's back that whole entire time, had my back enough when I really think about it. I don't think Ethan was a good enough friend to me, so I'm going to take this opportunity to backstab him, and then I'm going to act virtuous about it, while at the same time, I'm going to say that Ethan Klein is mentally ill, which, by the way, that's what they suggest. They suggest Ethan, who is under investigation by Child Protective Services, go to therapy in order to deal with what is going on internally, because the problem is Ethan.
Things are complicated.
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends when I did my apology that did not with it in the slightest.
Yeah, they didn't agree.
And they still don't with it.
Yeah.
They
and that's
don't agree
fine.
with it. And, you know, I don't really expect them to come to bat for me or anything.
That's not. This is such a fucking bullshit argument. I'm sorry, dude. This is so bullshit. This is not you. This is not having a different disagreement in opinions on you. Like, where people, like, actually would get mad at the people who didn't agree with iDubbbz at the time. They're like, oh, you just want iDubbbz to be racist again. It's like, no, I just think his apology seems bullshit. This is the same YouTuber apology we've seen a million times before, but because iDubbbz is apologizing in one part about him saying the N-word 87 kajillion times, oh, well, that makes everything else okay. Like, it makes his shitty apology okay. That's not the same thing as this guy's kids and family are getting attacked. It's not even close to the fucking same thing. And he's playing it down. He's playing it down like, oh, well, not... But you know who was there? iDubbbz? Ethan. Ethan was there. Ethan was there to protect you all those times. Ethan was willing to make sure that you were always had a spot on his show. Like, you took the one guy that was always in your corner, and now you're saying, like, you're lumping him in with these other guys. Well, were I mad at them? Yeah, you were probably mad at them, and you're probably still annoyed that they didn't have your back, bro. Like, you're pathetic. You're a pathetic little fucking clown.
Yeah.
If they don't agree with it.
Yeah.
And,
What's there to agree with, though? What's there to fucking agree with CPS getting called on his kids over a fucking ideological difference?
I don't expect them to speak up, period, on any of it.
I appreciate that they don't.
Yes.
Oh my
because
god.
it just makes things more complicated.
Oh, I appreciate when they don't. You guys have talked about how, oh my god, no, this is just bad. This is bad.
It's like, I can get a...
They're trying to be fence sitters, but actually, while at the same time defending the fact that they're being fence sitters, while trying to make Ethan look like an asshole for thinking that they might come out of their side. This is disgusting.
Read from you with, like, what you say or don't say.
Because all this is doing is downplaying what happened to him. This is downplaying what happened to him to drama on the internet and not CPS being called on his kids.
You know, that might change private relationships, sure, but that's life. Like, that's life. You know what I mean? Like, people go their separate ways all the time. Again, like, the worst thing you can do is feed into it.
It's not only not having the tools, like, emotionally, psychologically, but it's also having the support system.
Yes.
Friends, family, therapy, like we mentioned.
You were the friends, dude. You were part of the support system. Like, in the content world, who has been your support system? Ethan Klein. Like, this is so fucking pathetic, dude.
Like, that's something that you can get, and it does a lot. It's powerful.
Predictable schedule, hobbies. All these things.
Yeah, that's great.
Again, I should not be surprised. Friends of Anna Kasparian for years ended up backstabbing her at the earliest convenience over minor petty political differences. So to me, it makes perfect sense that these people would do this logically, because it's so illogical, but they're in a cult, so this is under the cult logic. But it's still absolutely disgusting and repugnant and repulsive, because I would never backstab somebody like this. And again, I would never want to support the people who are doing doing this to one of my worst enemies on the internet. I understand that there are greater things than internet politics, and attacking somebody's family, targeting somebody's children should be at that level. And the thing is, the people who are doing this to Ethan, they're not even repentant about it. They're not even sorry that it got to this point. Again, I played this clip in my other video of Denims when she was confronted with the idea that Ethan and Hila feel like this would be traumatic for their children because being in
I mean, I've already seen the Denims thing. I've already seen the Denims thing. We've already covered the Denims thing. He's gonna play it. Does it ever go back to iDubbbz? No, it's just him talking. We're gonna see if H3 said anything. We're gonna see if H3. We're gonna see if he said anything. 7 days ago. Over a Hassan tweet. Dude, I mean, look at this. They've been friends for so fucking long, dude. So fucking long, dude. And like this 4 days ago. Have they covered it? That's Sam Hyde. I don't want to watch Sam Hyde's opinion on all this shit. I don't care about Sam Hyde's opinion. Dude, it's just like, look at like shooting with iDubbbz 6 years ago. They've been friends for so long. So fucking long. Longer than Hassan's been famous. There we go.
Like that Hila's a Nazi.
There we go.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like she's like a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubbbz feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered for saying one goddamn fucking thing in our defense. Like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually,
yeah. Do you see? This is where it comes off. Where like, I'm sorry, but like Hassan's not worth protecting. It's not worth protecting. I don't care how. The fact of the matter is that if I were iDubbbz and this was my friend going through some shit, I would literally be like, yeah, I've seen the iDubbbz. I would make a video addressing Ethan Klein, or I would talk to Ethan Klein in the background and be like, listen, dude, I think we should collab and we should talk about this. Have me on the podcast. We'll talk about it. I want to have a little pushback. I think it would be good, and they could have done that. This would have like blown this whole thing over. I don't know.
accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one.
Dude, and I loved it. So I started seeing this in some of my other videos I posted about this, like, where, like, somebody kind of, like, justified the fact that because he's sniffing all the time, that means that he's sick all the time. He's got fucking Tourette's, dog. That's why he's so fucking, for me, so hard to watch. Now, I know that comes off as, like, ableist or whatever. I don't really give a fuck. I think that type of, like, logic and wording is super gay and annoying. But it can be kind of hard to watch Ethan for me, and it always has been. I've thought he was funny in the past, and I think that he's kind of like been kind of cringe for a long time. And even this dude is coming off kind of wild. But the same thing, he's had Tourette's. He's got these tics. The more worked up he gets, the worse they get, because that's everyone with fucking Tourette's. And the fact that I've had comments on my videos about this whole drama with the kids thing, where it's like, well, then why is he sniffing the air and shit? It's like, dude, what does that even fucking mean, bro? What does that even fucking mean? You're utilizing the fact that he has fucking Tourette's and he sniffs and he fucking has these weird clicks and glicks all the time as a reason that CPS should be called. Get the fuck out of here, dog. You guys are disgusting.
It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy. Like, dude, I probably done and stood by iDubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them because I love those guys. I vouched for their character, and I stood by them 100%. And listen, I'm not saying that they're not the good nice, fine people that I thought they were. But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. That's what I'll say at this moment. And certainly, I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. Like, I don't need any fucking
this is what I'm saying. Like, we see this shit blowing up on, like, live. By the time we've seen it, there's already been conversations. There's already been shit going down. And the fact that you reach out to your friend and they're like, listen, it probably went along the line, you should stop going after Hassan. And it's like, but his fan base attacked me for years. I literally was getting pulled off on the side of the street, being called, my wife being called a baby killer, and I'm just supposed to pretend that this is okay? I'm just supposed to say that this is all fine while Hassan laughs at, like, children dying? Like, what are we doing here? Like, yeah, and then to, like, sit in the background and be like, oh, well, we don't want to take your side on this. And it's like, you don't have to 100% take a side on all of his rhetoric. All you have to do is come out and condemn the way they've been treating him for years. Where the fuck were you guys in the last, like, fucking couple years where he was getting obliterated? Obliterated because he cut ties with Hassan. It's fucking ridiculous. All because he's not in the kill all of Israel position of the ideology, which no one should be on that side. No one should be on kill an entire group of people side. That's what I think. I don't think you should, like, condone, be like, oh, well, because these guys have had it rough, we should genocide all of these people. And they should just leave. Where the fuck are they supposed to go? Like, it's their country. Like, most of these people born and raised in that place. What the fuck are they supposed to do? Now, do I agree with how Israel's handled a lot of this shit? I don't fucking know. I'm an internet drama guy. But I do know that, like, laughing at kids dying just because they're not on the side you like is gross. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't like the death on either side. I think if I was gonna stand up here and like, ha 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 ha, look those Palestinians got it, that's not the correct take. Especially when you're a political commentator. Oh, well, I'm just gonna celebrate these people dying. Nah, fuck you.
Halfway friends, man. That's not what I need.
And the last thing I want to say is, even over the ideological differences, which I don't give a fuck about at this point, the harassment is the most important part. Like, how fucking much they've harassed this guy to the point of calling CPS, and you're still not willing to come out and say, like, that's too far. There's a line in the sand, they fucking crossed it, and you're still playing a fence ride, or you're still fence riding? Get the fuck out of here. You guys are gross.
Do you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies. Or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
Yeah. I mean, that's just...
I saw Invincible was having some...
Yeah, like, that's just... It's just... Oh, God. Is that how my audio sounds?
Some drama was going about.
You'll know that everyone's biggest issue...
Dude, it's so quiet, bro. It's so quiet. I need to turn this shit up. I need to turn that shit up. My problem is I'm really loud, so I'm always pushing my mic levels to way too loud, and I'm trying to get better to where I'm not pushing the levels as far as I should, so I'm trying to get better with it, but yeah, sometimes it comes off real quiet. But yeah, that's the iDubbbz drama. I mean, my thing about it is, like, through every controversy, at thick and thin, Ethan has been there, and now that Ethan's going through, like, way worse shit than they ever went through. Plain and simple, this is worse than anything they've gone through. They can't take a side. That's disgusting to me. And I don't think there needs to be more said about it. I don't think there needs to be anything else said about it, because it's just, I think it's blatantly obvious what's going on. I think it's so simple to say, this is too far. This is actual crazy harassment. I mean, I thought that the internet kind of banded together to say that swatting and shit was bad. Like, we all said that anybody who's, like, condones swatting, and if you have, like, people in your audience that are that mad and you could, like, point it out that happened from your audience, you should come out and say something about it. If we can have that opinion, why the fuck can't we rally behind Ethan on this? I don't even like Ethan that much, but I'm defending him constantly in this because I think it's just so common sense. All this whole situation has been common sense W's for Ethan. It's just so simplistic. It's so simplistic. And it's crazy because if you would have talked to me like 2 years ago, I would have said that I was like, the way Ethan's going, I don't think there'll ever be a point where I think that I'm going to agree with him. And it's crazy now that I'm sitting here defending this guy on a pretty consistent basis just because it's just so common sense and it's proving everything that he said about Hassan's and the Hassan Arbiter's audiences correct on everyday basis. I remember when he was like, well, you need to moderate your chat better. I'm like, dude. And, like, I'm getting a lot of harassment. I'm like, grow up. Just turn your computer off. Like, I don't care about chat moderation. I don't care about any of that. And I thought Ethan was kind of being a little bitch about the whole thing. I thought he was being a little bit of a bitch. I didn't like Hassan, but I thought he was being a little bit of a bitch. And now it's gotten to this point, and this is the point where you have to say something. I think, like, okay, you don't have to. I'm not saying that he has to or he's, like, awful. But, like, morally, you should. Morally, this is the line. This is the line that your audience crossed. The fucking Hassan Glazers, the Denims Glazers, you guys have all had your audiences cross the line that is too far. You guys consistently support Bad Empanada, who is willing to put out dangerous misinformation about Ethan in order to prove narratives so that you guys look good. And you need to come out and say, listen, this is all wrong. We've taken this in a bad direction. It needs to go back to the ideology. It needs to go back on terms of like where we're talking from these positions. It needs to go back to internet stuff because we're taking it to personal lives and that's going too far. I'm sorry, dude. This has gotten gross. But that's all I got on that one, guys. Like and subscribe, and hopefully I won't have to cover this shit anymore because I'm kind of sick of it. But yeah, that's it. All right, we got a fun one now. We got a little bit lighter hearted thing than what I've been doing lately. I have got Disney cancels Snow White's premiere. It's panic time. Let's be honest, guys. We all knew this was going to happen. I mean, the main chick from the show has been out there, like, critically nuking the entire show from the beginning in every interview she's done. But this is the Critical Drinker. This is 7 minutes. We're going to get right into it.
Watching the absolute calamity that is Snow White unfold over the past year or two, I'm reminded of those dudes up in the lookout tower on board the Titanic. They spotted the iceberg looming ahead of them, telephoned their warning to the bridge, even though they probably could have just shouted. I mean, it doesn't look that far. And now there's nothing they can do except watch as their shiny new boat plows straight into 100 million tons of frozen water. Uh-oh, the insurance company's gonna be feeling the pain tomorrow. The point I'm making here is that anyone with even a surface level understanding of the film industry, plus legacy entertainment journalists who like to pretend it still matters what they think, has known for a long time that this movie was headed for absolute disaster. Whether it was the baffling casting choices, the laughable DEI parade...
Dude, I thought this was so funny. So here's what happened with this that I thought was kind of like... So this was a drama. This was a short dwarf midget person problem. I don't know what the correct term is anymore. I'm trying here. I will try. Well, dwarf. I don't know. Fucking Peter Dinklage came out and said that it is highly offensive to only cast little people in the parts of dwarfs or Oompa Loompas or whatever, right? He said it was highly offensive. Every other fucking person with dwarfism came out and was like, shut the fuck up, Peter Dinklage. We appreciate what you've done out there for us. You've opened a lot of doors, but please shut the fuck up so we can get a job. And Disney listened to Peter Dinklage and just fucking CGI'd a bunch of people on top of, like, small bodies. And it looks like shit, right? This looks fucking stupid to begin with. This is just like a weird, goofy fucking... The movie looks bad. Like, just what the fuck are they wearing? They're wearing, like, ponchos. That looks like some shit that you'd see some dude wearing in Portland. Same with her. They're, like, sweatshirts. This is terrible costume design. Just on the costume design aspect. When I was thinking, oh, we're gonna get Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, I did not picture them looking like the typical fucking Portlandia guy. But... just on the fact that they got cast because Peter Dinklage said that shit and every other dwarf was like, please shut the fuck up, Peter Dinklage.
Pretending to be dwarves, the nightmarish CGI monstrosities that replaced them, the
Oh no, yeah, they did replace them, didn't they? That's so funny. They started with that, and then they're like, fuck, let's reroute, let's pull a Sonic, and nobody cared.
Star whose complete inability to shut her mouth quickly and efficiently turned her into one of the most toxic celebrities in Hollywood, or every piece of official media released about this film getting ratioed so far into oblivion that it practically formed its own quantum singularity, vanished out of space and time, and emerged on the other side of the universe, Event Horizon style. The warnings were all there, and they've been discussed at length by every content creator on YouTube, but now at last, we have come to the crunch, dear viewer. The last few days before the movie releases, when the old PR machine has to grind itself into high gear and take on the seeming—
I'm not gonna lie, this movie looks like ass. All these live action Disney movies have been so bad. They've been so bad. I think The Jungle Book was okay. I'm trying to think of the ones that were good. Sleeping Beauty was shit. Fuck, dude. The Jungle Book, I guess, and Beauty and the Beast wasn't terrible. But I don't understand the need for them. I really don't. It's like, why the fuck are we doing these? They're so, like, why are we pumping them out every year that we have to have a new live action variant? I just don't care. I just don't care. Every time one comes out, I'm like, nobody needs this shit. Nobody was fucking asking for this shit. It's like, you feel like the old ones don't hold up anymore, so you're just fucking pumping shit out to try to grind money instead of making anything new.
Insurmountable task of getting people enthused for Snow Whites. And well, I think it's fair to say they've got some hurdles to overcome. Hurdle the first is the dire box office predictions, with the film expected to make just over 50 million on its opening weekend, which is only slightly higher than the Marvels managed, and that movie eventually struggled up to $200 million.
I forgot that the Marvels came out. To be honest with you, I forgot this movie even existed. It's just like, what I used to, so I'm like a big comic book guy. I've always been like a big Marvel guy. And the fact that I don't even know what the fuck is happening with Marvel anymore is super sad, because I used to even watch, like, I remember watching Eternals. I was like watching everything, and it's just gotten so insufferable that I just don't give a fuck anymore. And it was even where I was overlooking like some of the shit that annoyed me just to keep enjoying the fact that I was seeing some of my favorite characters get their time in the sun. But it's gotten to the point where it's like the writing's so fucking insufferable, I can't do it anymore.
Worldwide.
You play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Yes, Brie, I want that. I want that with all my heart.
I do feel bad for her. Here's the thing. I think Brie Larson has a decent amount of talent in some regard, but she just kind of got, she just had the misfortune of being a part of like the shitty way that they started writing female heroes, where it was just like, they don't have any follies, they don't have any struggle, they're incredibly unrelatable to, and it sucks too, because I think that they could have made her character incredibly relatable, and Brie Larson wouldn't have to take just fucking endless amounts of screaming from people like the Quartering. It's like, dude, the Quartering made sure that everyone hated that Brie Larson existed, and it sucks because I think Brie Larson is fairly talented. She is pretty, I think, and it's just like, I thought that she had a lot of there was a lot of promise to her being Captain Marvel, and I just don't think that her movie was any good. I think that it was kind of victim to the culture war, for one, but on two, it was just like, it showed that all the problems of female writing in the modern era of how to write a female character was like, well, we can't show them having troubles. They can't go through any struggle at all. It's like, come on. The best part about a hero story is watching them get beat down to then re-rise from the ashes. And you just never got that with her character. She just showed up and was way too OP. And I think that even if you look at the Captain Marvel comics, there is times of actual struggle for Captain Marvel, and they could have done it better. They really could have.
For a film with a reported budget of $300 million. Hurdle the second is the widely reported spat between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, because they clearly have very different perspectives on the whole Israel-Palestine issue, which means it's hard enough to get them to even share the same room, never mind go through the kind of excruciating, fawning interviews where they clutch each other's hands and pretend to be soulmates or whatever, which seems to be expected at this point. Damn man, all we're missing is some guy who sounds like he uses sulfuric acid as mouthwash to ask them about the gayness level of their movie.
The gayest Marvel project yet.
Bro, it's so funny hearing the gayest Marvel project ever, dude. It's like, you gotta remember she came from like a comedy background, bro. You know that she's probably thinking, yeah, it's pretty fucking gay, dude. It's a pretty fucking gay movie. I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
The kind of big questions that clearly need to be asked about the art of cinema.
Yes, yes.
But the biggest hurdle, and this truly is a biggie, is that the film isn't even getting a traditional premiere anymore. It was reported a couple of days ago that the film's intended UK premiere in central London has been cancelled because of fears about the backlash to the movie and its star.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
And to be honest, I can totally understand why they did it. The potential optics of Rachel Zegler and the rest of the cast getting publicly booed by a big crowd at the premiere of their own movie would be the sort of thing that goes viral within a matter of minutes. The problem is, this is kind of like digging one hole to fill another, because cancelling a major premiere means less publicity, and less publicity means less interest in the film. It's also a very public acknowledgement that yes, people really don't like our movie.
I mean, here's the thing: this movie was gonna be a flop from day one. I mean, not even people who like deal with the culture war shit like want this movie. And once she started coming out and just shitting on the character, that's all she's done is shit on the character she's playing. Talk about how toxic and horrible it is from the entire point. Like, if you're a fan of Snow White, which even if you're like, you hate the culture war, you see her interviews and you would be like, why the fuck would I watch a movie that was beloved to me as a child where they're already shitting on the original? There's no point in me watching it. There's nothing for me here. It's like if I see an article like Punisher's getting a new movie, right? But and all I see is John Bernthal going out and talking about how shitty the original Punisher character is. I'm like, well, then I don't need to watch this. I'm like, I don't care. There's gonna be a part of me that on principle isn't gonna want to watch it, even if there's a chance it might be good, because of the fact that all that I'm getting from this movie is that the original fucking sucked and we're better. And you were dumb for liking the original. And I don't like that. That's not a way that's not a narrative you want to spin or trying to market your movie. And that is all we've heard from this. So it just makes me think that I don't need to watch this. And there's a lot of people who don't want to watch this movie just because of her rhetoric. And I think that's gonna bomb this movie. It's just like this is like a sad Assassin's Creed Shadows, where everything bad that can happen has happened, and it's not gonna pay out well for when it actually releases. Now, I don't know if Assassin's Creed Shadows can somehow turn it around. I doubt it, because Ubisoft, I'm not even getting on the culture war aspect of everything. I think that just Ubisoft in general is just fucking cooked. They can't make anything anymore of a fucking value. So why would I care? Why would I pay $70 to be screwed by another Ubisoft game? That's just my thought process on it.
Because we don't know how to win them over, and all we can think to do now is run and hide. That was all bad enough by itself, but then the news broke yesterday that even the film's US premiere is being drastically scaled back, which means no red carpet event, no real media presence, and no chance for the...
Well, what's crazy too is why are they scaling this back when in Hollywood they would just be fine, dude? If they held the premieres in Hollywood and just fucking chilled, they wouldn't have any problems. They don't want people watching this. This is the thing. They want to shove this movie under the rug, but they have too much money invested in it. So they're just trying to get it over with. They're trying to fucking just hide this bitch as best they can to move on to their next big project. Hopefully try to change the direction that they're spiraling direction into shitberg to maybe save something. They're like, let's just fucking not have many premieres, and then maybe we can just get the movie out there and fucking make some money and then write it off as a tax write-off.
Stars to speak to journalists and promote their movie. Red carpet events are actually pretty important media tools to promote your film, and the fact this movie isn't even getting one is a major sign of Disney's lack of confidence in it. Again, I can totally understand the thinking behind it, because let's be real here, putting Rachel Zegler in front of a hot mic is a bit like putting a toddler with ADHD in charge of a nuclear launch button. Every time she opens her mouth, and by God, she loves to open her mouth, you can practically feel the Disney bean counters dying inside because she just shaved a few more $1 million off the film's box office. It's funny actually, because she even tried to spin all of this backlash into some kind of weird positivity, a bit like Henry Cavill did with The Witcher, except without the sincerity, or honesty, or respect, or charisma, or general likability. Quotes: I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it, and what an honour to be able to be part of something that people's so passionate about. We're not always going to have the same feelings as everyone around us, and all we can do is give our best. Bullshit! Really? That's an interesting change of heart you've had there, Rachel.
Oh, dude, this is just so her fucking the PR team reached out to her agent and said, you need to fucking do something now because we are getting because this is a special project because this isn't just people hating this for the fact of like the anti-woke people. Everyone hates this. This is like universally not loved, this entire project. And she has spearheaded the fact that if you like the original, you suck. And then they're like, angry about it. Because everybody's like, why the fuck are you doing this? This is stupid. And then, well, it's just passion behind the project. Fuck out of here. Rachel's like, you stupid bitch.
Considering your previous attitude towards people who think differently from you.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Damn. Which she has every right to say that on her own personal social media. But when you are a person that literally makes money from drawing an audience into theaters, I mean, it's not great. It's not a great look. But again, like, is a Hollywood celebrity saying vote blue is nothing fucking new. I mean, that's literally all of them do that. This isn't wild take.
Right. The thing is, hiding a problem away isn't the same as actually solving it, and the more you retreat from a controversy like the one swirling around Zegler, the more you're forced to acknowledge that it does in fact exist. She's the one who caused it, and you don't know how to fix it. If you demonstrate a lack of confidence in your film and its star before it even releases, you're sending out the message that you know it's gonna suck, and you're simply trying to hunker down and minimize the damage. And wow, this movie's likely to cause quite a bit of damage, not just to the concept of live.
It is funny that Gal Gadot had just got off of like the Wonder Woman thing, just kind of fucking failing, and then she's like, dude, I'll do the Disney wants me to do the Snow White thing, I'm excited. And then it just like every interview with her is just like, yeah, the old movies suck. Yeah, if you want to see it done right, we do it right. The original story sucks, the original movie sucks, everything sucks except for me. I'm great, and you should know how great. She's so egotistical behind the role that I just don't care.
Action Disney remakes, but to the company itself. At this point, it probably would have been better to just abort the theatrical release altogether, shart it out onto Disney Plus and take the financial hits. At least that way, Disney could make up some obscure combination of viewing metrics to spin it into some kind of success. This film had the most number of minutes viewed on a Thursday afternoon for any live-action remake of an animated film made in the first half of the 20th century. Instead of being confronted by the raw box office numbers, which, well, aren't looking good. Shit, man, it probably would have been cheaper and easier.
53 million, dude. 53 million is so sad. When a budget of 300 million, that's insanely fucking bad. That is fucking cum goblin levels.
Easier to remove Zegler from the movie altogether and reshoot all her scenes with a new actress.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Oh well, just like those guys in the lookout tower watching that iceberg drift closer, there's not much more for us to do now except sit back, crack open a couple of cold ones and wait for impacts. Something tells me it's going to be an entertaining couple of weeks. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, dude, I think that this was just gonna be a clusterfuck from the very beginning. It was gonna be an absolute shitberg. I think everybody knew that once Rachel Zegler started talking, there was like, oh shit, dude, this movie's gonna suck. Not to mention that there's been burnout on live action things for a while now. It's just, nobody cares. Nobody really cares about this shit. It's just like, why would I go out of my way to watch a movie that's a worse version of an animated movie I've already seen? Like, why the fuck would I do that? And it's also gotten to the point where it's like, okay, well, you want to see your childhood movie animated live action? Like, yeah. Well, it's not going to be your childhood movie. It's going to be completely different in every way. And you're like, why the fuck would I go watch that? I just wanted to watch my fucking... I wanted to see Disney dump a fucking a shitload of money into an IP that I already cared about, to turn it into a beautiful live action movie. That's all people wanted. I don't think anybody was out here saying anything different. And then it was like, well, we're just gonna like the main character's gonna look different. We're gonna race swap this and the frog. Like, you literally have one of the best, in my opinion, the best Disney animated princess movie. And if you disagree with that, you can shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here, because the best animated princess movie is The Princess and the Frog. That movie's fucking dope. Everything about it is awesome. Like, if they made it a live action version, it makes sense. Like, what would piss me off if they made a live action of The Princess and the Frog and casted some white bitch in that role? I'd be fucking furious. I'd be fucking furious. And I know there's somebody that's gonna be like, yeah, but like the original story of The Princess and the... Shut up. Shut up. All it did was take and put a different spin on the story. It was a spin, which they've been doing for years. And not all of even these stories that you're seeing, like the iconic Disney ones that come from like original stories, they're putting a fucking spin on it for a kid's show anyways. You think those bitches were musicals? No, you didn't fucking open up the book and it looked like the fucking Bible with all of its psalms and shit. No, dude, like, come on. They're making their interpretations. If they were to make a live action Pocahontas movie, I don't want the bitch to be white. I don't want Elizabeth Warren to play Pocahontas, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, so that's where my perspective is you already have these characters that are, like, made in certain races. Why the fuck why don't you just remake that shit? Why don't you just live action that shit? Why are we here making it so that you have to fucking destroy original IPs just to win progressive brownie points? Why are we doing this when you already have the characters? You can go through the fucking line of all these characters and be like, oh, Disney princesses, we want an Arab one, well, let's do Aladdin. Boom, they already did Aladdin. But, like, it's like, I don't know. And they're all shit anyway, so it really doesn't matter. They're all garbage and, like, half brain cell energy. But that one, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta use the restroom real quick, so I will be back in momentarily. I lied, guys. I didn't actually have to use the restroom. I just needed tissues. I'm massively sick right now. That's why it's called my massive sick stream, is I am really, really sick right now. Alright. So, I saw that Oompaville dropped a video called Joshua Block is Destroying Himself. Now, if you don't know who Joshua Block is, he is World of T-Shirts. Let's pull up some World of T-Shirts clips right now to kind of set the mood. World of T-Shirts is an iconic lolcow. He is kind of wild. Let's go right here.
How much money is in your bank account?
Right now, I have like a few hundred, you know, business is really slow right now.
Why is business slow?
The industry's down. I don't know why.
Which industry?
The tour guide industry.
Do you think less people are coming to New York for tours, or?
I don't think as many people are.
This is World of T-Shirts. He's an iconic lolcow.
Drinking with the. This is Joshua Block. If you don't already know him, you'd be forgiven for thinking he just escaped from a mental asylum. However, he's actually a very popular content creator, with his World of T-Shirts TikTok account boasting 2.6 million followers. A man of many talents, he solidified his standing in the public consciousness through hard work and shrewd hustling. At least that's probably what he believes. The truth is that Joshua may be the only person who takes himself even slightly seriously. Ever since his unorthodox jump to stardom, he's worked overtime to erode every bit of goodwill his initial fans may have had for him, be it due to his violent outburst against a fish, the fact that many people take issue with him charging fans for photos, or having a smidge too much love for the bottle.
Yeah, so basically he's an alcoholic dude who runs around and screams in New York. He's kind of handled by a ex-pimp who live streams, I can't remember the guy's name, Mr. Based. The lore goes endlessly for Joshua Block. The dude is like just constantly on spirals. But I saw Oompaville uploaded a thing, and I'm wildly interested to see what we got here.
I'm sure many of you have followed the King of New York, Joshua Block, for quite a while, and maybe you saw recently that he was diagnosed with pancreatitis.
Do you acknowledge that there's no way your pancreas will be healed by then?
No, it'll be okay. Pancreatitis? Pancreatitis. Inflammation of the pancreas, one of the most important organs of the human body, one that produces insulin, and apparently doesn't like alcohol very much.
Yeah, dude, and the amount that he's been drinking, he is slowly going to spiral into probably not being good unless somebody helps him. And this is the thing, you look at the guy who's kind of been handling him, the dude's name is Mr. Based. Dude does not care. He is just using Josh for as much money as possible and consistently feeding him more and more alcohol to watch him spiral. I do like whatever this new set he has here that looks like a late night show. I'm actually really vibing with the old TV aesthetic he's got going here.
Or is that your liver? That's your liver. Yeah, pancreatitis is very serious, though. Your dad has pancreatitis? Very sad.
I don't know if pancreatitis has anything to do with alcohol, though, but I'm sure that his drinking does not help it.
I shouldn't do that. It's mocking him. I'm sorry. It's live. I can't get it out. Anyways, if Josh's body was a car, he's been putting lighter fluid inside of it instead of gas, and is now surprised that it's breaking down, but still thinks lighter fluid is the right choice. I think that's a bad analogy because they're both very flammable. What's a better example? If Josh's body was
if he was a car, he's having somebody piss in the gas tank and wondering why it doesn't run. There you go. He's like having an endless line of dudes jerk off into the gas tank and finding out that his engine is just completely filled with semen.
If Josh's body was Kanye West, he's been putting air in it instead of galaxy gas, and it's having severe side effects. Because Kanye West only does. If you know the lore behind Josh, he's currently being used as a cash cow by a Class D piece of shit and felon, Mr. Based, and he hates being told to put the fries in the bag. He crashes out whenever people say that. He bites his wrist. Have you ever seen the videos of the macaques? Whenever they're not raised in with the proper environment, the proper environmental like nurturing and love, they go, when they get angry, put the fries in the bag! Put the fries in the bag!
Well, and this is where I get annoyed too, is you could see fucking Mr. Based over here on the side just smiling when this shit happens because he knows he's gonna have content. And this is where I get annoyed with these type of people, because it's like, his handler is wanting this shit to go down. Look, he's just fucking standing back there, bro. He's just fucking standing like, oh, we have a spurg out. This is gonna give me so much money.
Fries in a bag! Put the fries in a bag! Put the fries in a bag!
And then, like, later, oh, you gotta stop it. You gotta stop that, Josh. You gotta stop it. It's just... The dude's playing it, like, actually not doing anything. He's willingly letting Josh just spiral, which is wild.
Great, Mr. Based isn't going to have a cow to milk. He's going to have a well-done steak because Josh's brain is so cooked. Another singer for the late-night audience. He runs around this great nation of ours, yelling and screaming, all while having a drink in his hand and screaming and singing. Now, he doesn't sing anymore, so I can't even really do that. He's just sad to watch nowadays. It seems that the drinking seriously is catching up with him, though. He's 23 years old, and he has...
Bro's only fucking 23? Jesus.
Allegedly has some kind of fucking diagnosis. I don't know, stupid internet nonsense. I don't know. Fucking look at the guy. He doesn't look like he's doing that well. He throws up all the time on his live streams, and...
I mean, oh, dude, does he shit himself? He, like, pissed his own pants, bro. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, this is what all these locals end up like, because, like, the people who are going to try to help them aren't there to help them. They don't want to, like, have this guy on their show because they want to, like, make this guy better. They're like, no, dude, I'm gonna just keep fucking feeding him the shit that does horror. I mean, this is the same thing we've seen with, like, an older example, like, Don't Only Use Me Blade, where everywhere he would go, they would just prop him up to drink more and more until he becomes the piss in the street in your own pants guy.
His TikToks and all that other shit. It's pretty sad. Now, one might think that such a serious diagnosis might cause someone to rethink their life, or maybe Josh would quit drinking altogether, or at least tone it back.
Fuck no, dude. Josh is gonna keep drinking until he's probably dead. Let's be honest, dude. He's taking the fucking jizz cannon lifestyle where he's just gonna shoot his way through until he ends up just sad and drunk and like he's gonna end up like You Only Use Me Blade.
A little bit. Maybe, hey, here's a joke for you. Hey, maybe in the meantime they can work out a sponsorship with a dialysis clinic. That's pretty good, but he's got pancreatitis, not fucking kidney disease. So it's like a little off, a little to the side. It's like a slight ricochet. It's funny, maybe the funniest one yet, but it's still like off though. It's got that weird kind of. You gotta take a sniff of it before you accept it. Like that is funny, but like not though. Shoo. After seeing people like Josh, Daniel Larson, Mr. Based, and Brandon Brutal, and other TikTok weirdos, it seems like
dude, who the fuck is Brandon
like
Brutal?
Josh, Daniel Larson, Mr. Based, and Brandon Brutal.
I know this guy. This guy's hella fucking weird. This guy's hella weird, dude. He like goes and sings at like preschools and shit. He's weird.
And other TikTok weirdos, it seems like when you sign up for the app, you're given 3 options. You have to pick between them, and the options are.
You got it, buddy. You got it. You fucking got it.
I can't come up with a joke. Most of the
fucking Spurg Out, thought, OnlyFans thought, and political shitbags. That's what you got, dude. I don't know. That's better than nothing. That's better than nothing.
Time Josh is sitting on Mr. Based's crusty cum and jizz covered couch. I added that one in there. That's my little addition. It's disgusting. I think I get I start to flail when I think about Mr. Based a little bit too much. Wailing and moaning. Josh is wailing and moaning about the pain in his side. Oh, my pancreas. I shouldn't say that. Because it's a serious thing and I shouldn't.
I don't know, dude. At this point, watching somebody spiral to this point, like, we'll make the jokes, bro. Fucking go in. Bro needs to have some, like, fucking surgery done, so he can have a gaping hole in his side. And then Mr. Based has now more holes to fuck.
Joke. He's fucked up. Anyways. He moans and whines about it while crushing a Mike's Hard Lemonade and or a Twisted Tea. Joke incoming. I think the only way to save Josh at this point is to lure him to the basement of an Alcoholics Anonymous building with the promise of a rare Twisted Tea flavor and seal him in the wall so he detoxes. That is crazy. 3 of my best friends, who I love, wrote all this stuff. He may have a feeding tube by then, but we'll throw some Evian water and caviar in there with him to appease his expensive taste. He has fine taste. I only make $400,000 a year. I only make 400. He says that. I make $400,000 a year. I think it's rage bait though. I think he's a genius. I think he's a secret genius. I think it's just an act. It's not.
Dude, I would see. Here's the thing. I watch these lolcows, some of these guys that are just like wildly popular and wildly successful, and watch them just fucking milk their own nipples and shit out into their own pants and stuff, and they just kill everything they have. They don't capitalize on anything. They just slowly watch everything get burned and pissed away, and it's so sad to see, dog. It's so sad to see because if they could just figure out how to transition and monetize the craziness, they could have so much fun with this shit. But I understand that like people like Josh Block and Daniel Larson are definitely super spectrumed out, right? So they're not gonna be like utilizing this to make gajillions of dollars and not have somebody just fucking milking them for profit off to the side. But it would be like nice to see somebody like, obviously Daniel Larson, there is no helping him. But I feel like Josh Block has if somebody was good around him and like helped him get like stop drinking so much, I think maybe he would have a chance to be fucking normal.
It's fucked up. I like finding people who. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I just can't cut this out.
The Lord of the Rings.
This is one reason why I don't like some of these. I don't like some of these fucking like live shows where they're like, oh, I'm worried about it. I can't cut this out. I can't make the joke. Just make the joke, dude. Just make the joke. Fucking have some controversy. Have some fun with it. And I really like Impaville. I think Impaville does some fun stuff. That was a fun little Josh Block side quest. I didn't know he had pancreatitis, so that's some fucking new lore drop. I mean, dude's just been slowly come falconing out all over the place. He is constantly flying to other countries, getting drunk, screaming, getting beat up by like other people in foreign countries. I mean, everybody makes fun of Josh Block everywhere. I think he went to Japan recently, and they were kind of dicks to him over there, too. But, I mean, when you're the guy who's screaming on a train full of quiet people, you're going to be made fun of. But that's just kind of the Joshua thing. On the Oompaville part of it, I think make your fucking jokes, bro. Don't back down. Go full Norm Macdonald. Have as much fun as possible. That's what we're here for. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. That's all I got for that one, guys. Like and subscribe, and make sure to milk your own nipples or whatever. All right, we got a Stanley exploitation documentary is crazy from Moist Critical or Penguin Zero. I actually saw this. And dear God, is this depressing? This is really depressing. I want to get into this.
Today, a Kickstarter project was launched as well as a trailer dropping about the final years of Stan Lee's life and the elder abuse he was allegedly victim of. It's a subject I've talked about from time to time on the channel. A few years ago, I even made a video covering the exploitation of his legacy for the sake of shilling NFTs. That one was
Dude, they like, I love this too. Hold on. From championing diversity to embracing new tech. It's always like, I fucking hate these people, dude. I hate these people so much. Where they're like, oh, we're gonna slip in some of the diversity talking points to get this crowd. We're gonna sucker these guys. We're gonna shit on this dude's legacy. I remember when this happened, and I was so disgusted by it. One, they're just fucking trying to put it in to get like the social brownie points for putting the diversity thing in there, right? And then also trying to like to convince these absolute brainlets. They're like, oh well, if you like diversity, you need to be a part of this NFT, bro. And this is where I get so fucking, like, most of these people who are like doing this shit, anybody you see talking about this virtuous shit, or actually anything really, it just always keep an open mind when you're listening to somebody talk on the internet. There's a good chance that they're trying to sell you on something. They're trying to sell you on something, whether it's an ideology, whether it's a stupid NFT, a pump and dump. Everybody's trying to sell you on something. That is just how it works. That, like, right now, I'm trying to sell you on my channel. I'm trying to make you think that this is the guy to watch so that I eventually can get ads on my videos and then make money off of this. Everybody's trying to sell you something. Don't let anybody believe that they're not. I mean, it's just how this stuff works. But it's so gross to, like, prop up a dead body and then be like, ah, dude, remember how cool this fucking guy was? Dude, he was pretty lit. Spider-Man? You like Spider-Man? Oh, dude, he mad liked black people. He mad liked black people. Oh, and other brown, not just black people, different shades of brown. He liked them too. Also, big tech guy over here. Yeah, he made comic books and stuff. I know he's dead as fuck, but buy our NFT. It's just fucking gross, dude.
The exploitation of his legacy for the sake of shilling NFTs. That one was particularly evil, basically saying, you gotta put all your money into these NFTs. It's what Stan Lee would have wanted. Excelsior, am I right? You don't want to disappoint Stan Lee. Get our NFTs. It's shameful, and there were allegations of elder abuse in the later life of Stan Lee for a long time, and now today, this documentary has popped up from someone named John Bolerjack, who is a former assistant to Stan Lee, who's claiming he's had tons and tons of video evidence and footage of numerous times Stan Lee was taken advantage of, and now he's putting it all together for this documentary called Stan Lee: The Final Chapter, and he's launched the Kickstarter campaign looking for $300,000 to finish it. I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts right off rip before we even get into the trailer, as well as like a clip that dropped from it. To me, that feels really exploitative as well. You're telling me you've had this footage?
Yep, that's exactly how I thought about it. The whole situation is disgusting. This dude was sitting there, hanging out with Stan Lee every day, watching him get abused, watching him be shoved place to place, utilized as a prop so that somebody else can make money. I talked about, like, some locales in the past, like Joshua Block, right? Where He's surrounded by bad people who are just utilizing him to milk him, bro. They are milking him as hard as they can. He's dry and they're still pumping out tons of dust. And this is what these guys are doing did to Stan Lee. And you're like, yeah, dude, I'm just gonna put this together into a massive film. I need like $300,000 to do it. Dude, just use some fucking editing software, post it on YouTube, and show what's went down. People will come and watch your shit. Make a YouTube channel. Like, yes, is it still disingenuous because you still will make money from YouTube? To a little bit of a degree. But trying to do a Kickstarter to get this into theaters and stuff, like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It just seems exploitive. But it's still... this whole situation is disgusting. I don't know why he just didn't put this all together and then drop, like, an insanely massive YouTube video.
For years, incriminating evidence of Stan Lee being taken advantage of, and instead of releasing it throughout the years to spread the word about the injustice he faced or giving it to authorities about potential elder abuse, you've instead just sat on it, kegeling it until now, compiling it into this documentary that you're now looking for $300,000 to finish, to pay for things like casting, wardrobe, hair and makeup, music composition, a soundstage space, visual effects. Like, what the fuck? If the goal is justice for Stan Lee, this feels highly unnecessary. I don't think you need a visual effects department on standby to cook up some CGI for it, you know? Like, you don't need Blur Animation Studio on the horn to do some kind of 3D render of like a...
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And why are we doing the interviews and shit? Like, here's the thing. I saw some of the interviews with, like, Rob Liefeld and stuff in the thing. If all of these people, like Rob Liefeld, you could probably have reached out to some of the other people in the industry to be like, hey, for years I've had this. I knew that by releasing this, I would lose my job. I was the only person there that was making sure that someone was taking care of this man. Like, I could understand the position of if he knew if he released it, he would lose his job. And then there was a chance that things could get worse for him or whatever. This is being incredibly generous to this guy. And don't get me wrong, I think that this guy, there's a part of him that is kind of skeevy for doing this. I've already said that. But we're going to play Generous Jeff for a second. He knows that he could be kicked out. This could get worse for Stan Lee. So he's being a little, he's like, so after he dies, he's like, I have all of this footage. I felt bad for not being able to do this before. I'm going to reach out to a bunch of people who've worked with Stan Lee throughout the years. And I want to see if I can get something out here to, like, get these guys put on blast. And then just go and reach out to these people. Reach out to everybody who knew Stan Lee and say, hey, can we come together to talk about this? Instead of going to the general public being like, yeah, by the way, I've had all this stuff about elder abuse for years. And because now only consensus you have is you're just as bad as the people that were abusing him. And you're going to try to utilize this editing and shit to make you look good. So now we're just instantly going to have to believe that you were the good guy throughout this whole thing instead of just you were filming every moment between you and Stan Lee.
Reenactment scene or something. If you've got all of this incriminating evidence, it feels a little weird to be asking $300,000 from people to crowdfund a pretty bow to put on all of this and like elevate it to like a Hollywood production where they want a set constructor, like they want to build a set, like I don't know if they want to like recreate Stan Lee's home 1-to-1 or something, or you know, as well as like a sound stage, like you refuse to release the footage unless everything, like all the testimonials can be filmed on like a Blackmagic Pro 45K camera or something. Like, I don't really understand it. To me, feels like it's also capitalizing off of Stan Lee's name, but this time from a different angle where it's highlighting all of the other people who also exploited Stan Lee in a different way. I'll show you the trailer, and you can obviously form your own fucking thoughts on it, but there's a couple things I want to talk about as well as showing you that clip that dropped.
My name is John Bolerjack, and for the last 4 years of Stan Lee's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend.
And dude, if you were his confidant and his friend, dude, you would have stood up to this. Like, I feel like you need to be on his side more than anybody else, and to watch other people just fuck him over, like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. If you were his confidant, you'd think he would have done more.
I traveled the world with him, witnessing firsthand the incredible highs of his legendary career, but also the heartbreaking lows.
John Bolerjack was someone that was close to Stan Lee, and he has filmed a ton of things around him and the people around him as well. So a lot of the footage is basically showcasing how people interacted with Stan Lee, those closest to him, and how they viewed him as kind of like a tool to make money off of. I'll play the rest of the trailer in a moment, but I want to show you this clip because I think this clip is a really interesting look at not only John, but a lot of what Stan Lee was subjected to.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, are you ready to give a riveting speech? You're gonna change lives.
I thought I was finished with that. What do I have to do now?
It's never over.
I'm not on the crazy...
Dude, fuck. This is what I'm saying, dude. This is what I'm fucking saying. Exactly what I said, dude. He was just as bad. He was a terrible assistant. He wasn't his confidant. And, like, even if that was in jest, bro, even if that was in jest, it still looks bad, dude. It's still not a great look optically, especially when you're trying to put these people on blast. Like, you're never done, dude. I don't know, dude.
Pills, right? Like, I'm not boofing stupid potion, right? That's John Bolerjack that's saying that to him. You can see his hair, his voice is the same. That's John. And he's the one telling him that it's never over. Like, John...
Yeah, dude, this is the thing. If you were his assistant, you could have been like, if you are ready to be done with this, we can go right now. It's all up to you. You're the boss. You want to leave? Let's get out of here. Like, he's the boss. It's like, okay, well, I mean... What's like, that's what assistants do. You assist the main guy, and if he wants to be fucking done, you're done. Now, we don't know all the context from that situation. Maybe it's like in jest or something, but I don't know. Stan Lee looks fucking out of it and wants to go home, and he got, instead of spending his like twilight years just chilling, he had to do fucking media tours around the world. I don't know, dude.
He, like, I'm assuming he was trying to be like sarcastic there, but John, even at the time, was privy to Stan Lee being taken advantage of, but just sat by and let it continue and let all of those people around him continue to exploit him. To me, it feels really weird. You've got all of this footage, you are aware of these things happening where he's being taken advantage of, and instead of sharing that footage at the time or contacting someone to try and help, he just lets it persist and then holds on to this footage for years after his death. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel...
It just feels wrong. It feels disgusting. It feels weird that he's using this. He's trying to make this was my kind of vibe too on that. Like, I think Moist Critical is like, obviously common critical take. He always does this, but honestly, this isn't... I started seeing a lot of people that were just kind of hyped about this, and I was like, I don't know, dude. This shit just kind of felt weird to me. Everything about it's disgusting. Everything about it's just... I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just kind of weird, dude. I don't like that he's utilizing his time as his assistant to have never have stood up for it, and now he feels bad and he wants to make a documentary about it to make himself look better and to also take down some of the people he doesn't like. I don't know. It's weird.
Right to me. Like, it feels off. And he also has something else that I found pretty mean-spirited to say to Stan at the end of this clip.
You what? I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No. Once we're done, we'll get out of here.
Now, what do I do here?
Same thing, talk about you. We'll make some new questions.
But I don't have the...
Yes, you will. Yes.
Yeah. You not want to have the mic on? I can control that. You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
So this guy telling Stan...
Jesus Christ, dude. I didn't see that clip yet. So I hadn't seen that clip. I just saw the trailer, and Jesus Christ, does that look bad, bro. Bro, they're just kind of hovering around him, just like, you be a good little fucking Stan Lee. We're going to keep rolling you around. You look miserable, but God, we're going to get our money out of it. And Stan Lee knows what's going on. He's just miserable and old, and he's just kind of like, here's the thing. A lot of when people get to that age and they're just kind of getting carted around, they're just kind of existing. And it's sad to see them just in that existence. I don't know, dude. This is gross.
What he's going to do, even without Stan Lee really knowing and really wanting to, he is still pushing Stan Lee to do it. And then Stan Lee says, "You get your money's worth out of me," and he says, "Every penny." And then John Bolerjack comes in and says, "Pennies, like 5 pennies." That's just kind of mean. Like, I don't know what the joke was supposed to be there. I don't know why he would come in at the end and say that on the back of that after we just watched Stan Lee get pushed to do something he wasn't aware of and not wanting to do by somebody who's basically controlling his appearance here. It just rubs me the wrong way.
I switched from due dates to due dates.
I
It
mean,
made me go from weeks by.
I mean, I don't think anybody can watch this. I don't understand that anybody can watch this and not see that there's something skeevy going on both sides. And you know what's funny is the way the trailer comes across is like him with his camera thing. It's trying to play itself off like the Val Kilmer documentary. That's the vibe I got instantly, and I think that's what grossed me out the most, is this is trying to present itself like the Val Kilmer documentary, like one guy with his camera. But the thing about the Val Kilmer documentary is it's Val Kilmer talking about Val Kilmer's life while he's going through the fact that he has cancer right now, and he's looking back at the best moments of his life. Brilliant documentary, by the way. If you haven't seen Val, you need to watch Val. But it almost presents itself in that way instead of like, I don't know, this is just gross.
Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment, manipulation, and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
Is there any way to get us out of that San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it? Gotta do it.
At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it, but I did have a camera and I filmed everything.
This is where I fucking hate this. It's like, but I did have a camera. It just comes off like the Val Kilmer thing. Like, I feel like here we go. We're gonna do this right now. We're gonna do this. What the fuck? I don't know why it's doing, why am I, usually I have YouTube always popped up. Oh, God. Dude, I'm so irritated right now. It's hard for me to even think. Like, let's look at the Val trailer. It's gonna probably... I misspelled all of those. I don't care. It'll... No. I can't find the trailer clip for it. I don't know if it was called Val. I thought it was called Val. I mean, who knows? Kilmer documentary. There it is. See, dude, what? Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna pop into this now, dude. I know it took me fucking 87 years, but I feel like it had the same vibe as this trailer, which makes me really grossed out. Really grossed out that it's almost like he took inspiration from this and... Hold on. Here we go.
Hi, my name's Val.
I don't do this with every interview I go on. Take you inside my home. I don't. But I'm going to.
Val!
I was recently diagnosed with throat cancer. I'm still recovering, and it is difficult to talk and to be understood. But I want to tell my story more than ever.
I spent decades finding my voice.
I was a perfectly normal person.
Through characters.
I gave you about 4 takes with some different voices.
Through movies.
One of the things they buy for all that money, your life.
More wine! More drunk! More women!
I have behaved bravely, bizarrely to some.
How do you heal a broken heart?
Hold on. There's a part where he talks about the camera, but yeah, you're getting the vibes, dude. It's... He talks about how he had a camera every time he was on set in the trailer. I can't find the exact part, but you could see where I'm getting the vibes right here. Glory to Russia. I don't know about Glory to Russia, dude. I'm a big USA guy. I don't care what happens to Russia. I'm not a big fan of Putin. I don't like the Ukraine either. Both sides of that conflict I don't like. Somebody in chat brought up Russia, so I'm I am saying I am not a big fan of either side of that thing. I think that the most important thing is just I'm a big love America guy. Don't care what happens in Europe. But anyways, yeah, that's why I'm getting like the gross out vibes, is because this reminds me of this is like taking a dark version of the Val Kilmer trailer, and it's just weird.
Whoa, watch out!
It's extremely sad watching this. Elder abuse is a fucking horrid thing. And John claims that at the time he didn't have the power to stop it, but he had a camera, so he filmed everything. Well, you were compiling evidence. You could have submitted that evidence to authorities, and there's a very real chance nothing would have come from it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of like really evil people that would have been able to squeak their way out of it, but you still would have tried. Like, you did have the ability to have this footage come to light. You could have released this footage yourself online. Like, there were a ton of options with this footage outside of just now bringing it to the public's attention while asking for money to finish a movie around that footage. Like, I understand there have been many cases where a documentary has been instrumental in justice for whatever case it's been covering, but I just can't understand why during all of the discussions around is Stan Lee being abused by the people closest to him, like there was even a lawsuit about elder abuse and Stan Lee, during all of this, and it did get a ton of attention, why John Bolerjack with his footage wouldn't have come forward to contribute to that discussion with evidence that, yes, Stan Lee is being taken advantage of.
Well, and we don't know that he didn't. We don't know that he didn't. He might have brought it up and nothing happened, and now this is his kind of FU to those guys. So, without more context on that, I kind of tried to look that up. That's why you heard me typing in the background. But he might have done that, again, being charitable to this guy. I mean, but here's the thing. If you tried and you couldn't get a good case going for elder abuse, and now you're trying to make this documentary where you're getting a ton of money in it so you can get it, like, streamlined out and get critics behind it and shit. Fuck you, dude. You just, you could have put it together yourself and posted it to YouTube to say, this is the shit that happened to Stan Lee. Look how fucking gross this is. This is bad. And it would have gotten attention from every fucking corner of the internet. There is not a single person who wouldn't have covered this up in a positive light. That's the thing. Like, if you would have released this to YouTube as, this is my experience. I was Stan Lee's agent or assistant for plus number of years. This is the story. And then just went through and created a dialogue using fucking CapCut or some shit. Put the shit together. Every single person from critical all the way to your like fucking what's nerd with the glasses or whatever, the fucking anti-woke guys. You would have had probably the quartering all the way to fucking Hassan Piker covering this shit, bro. Everybody would have covered it. And everybody probably would have been, probably would have seen just the internet come together to say, look how these fucking scumbags did this to Stan Lee. But instead you're like, well, let's just pull as much money out of Stan Lee's old ass as we possibly can.
Of. Yes, there are people close to Stan Lee doing things that he doesn't want to do or know that he's doing. Like, I don't understand why back then, with all of the footage he had, he wouldn't have spoke up during those times. It just feels weird that he's had it for so long and is now just bringing it to the public during a Kickstarter pitch.
Now I'm asking for your help to finish the film and finally get justice for Stan. This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts. This isn't speculation, it's all on camera. Undeniable.
This is old Stan Lee coming at you. No, you're not old.
Irrefutable.
Oh my god.
I thought I was.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Stan Lee. You're not old. Yeah, you're old, dude. You're old. Come on. It's like, we all know. I don't know, dude. I don't like this guy.
Finish. But apparently I'm not.
No ambiguity.
I think it's pretty clear from industry veterans that have talked about it to the footage that already exists outside of this documentary, since this hasn't released, so we don't know all the footage in it, that we can say with a pretty high level of confidence Stan Lee was taken advantage of in the later years of his life by tons of people around him. I think that much is pretty clear in my opinion, and I have no doubt that whatever footage John has here will be really helpful in holding a lot of those evil assholes that were exploiting him accountable. Like, I'm hoping that there will be a lot of good that comes from it. But this approach of just squatting on the footage for many years and then only like bringing it out if enough money is given to finish the film is very off-putting. And like looking at the Kickstarter rewards feels really weird too. Let me just hold your hand through what $50 gets you in the project. A stunning photo comic capturing rare, candid moments of Stan Lee like you've never seen before. Shot by filmmaker Jonathan Boulderjack, this collection offers an intimate look at the legend's life beyond the spotlight. Featuring 11 different covers, each showcasing a hand-picked image curated by its respective sponsor. Every book comes signed by Boulderjack, making it a must-have for true fans of Stan and his legacy.
I mean, the whole thing's gross, dude. This whole thing is just like, I get putting this stuff out to like hit these goals. There's a part of me that understands the fundraising, but it's like I don't know if this was the right approach. Again, dude, you could have just posted it on YouTube, dude. You could have at any moment just posted this shit on YouTube, worked your ass off to get it out here, and I don't know, dude. I don't know. There's something that sits unwell with me here. It's like you found an opportunity. You're looking at an opportunity to capitalize off of his death because you're like, well, I know I have all these connections now. I can do this and it'll make me feel better because I didn't do enough while he was alive. That's how it feels to me.
What? So each copy is signed by John, which means it's a must-have if you love Stan Lee. Where have we heard that nomenclature before? Spoiler alert, it's the NFTs that were shilled on Stan Lee's Twitter page a few years back. There are so many reward tiers here, more than I've ever seen in a Kickstarter project. I shit you not, I think there's close to like 40 or 50 different reward tiers. It's crazy. Like, here's one for $500 where you get basically a CGC slabbed Stan Lee image. Like, it seems like the reward system is all about incentivizing collectors. Like, every reward.
Yeah. No. It's definitely trying to capitalize on it's trying to capitalize on that fucking card trader, super nerd, consume product and keep consuming product, don't ask questions, consume product mentality. We are on that Funko Pop level bullshit, dude. It's like, oh, look at this new thing you can shove up your ass and tickle your prostate with. It's all fucking, I don't like it.
Tier has some kind of element that hypes up the collecting appeal of the reward tier for the Kickstarter. Like, it's very, again, weird. Here's another option for $500 tier, where you can get a tour through Los Angeles with John, where you'll visit places where bribes were offered, schemes were plotted, and millions went missing, stories that have never been told till now. What?
What the fuck, dude? Dude, this is fucking gross, dude. This is just fucking gross, bro. Like, so you have time to get $500 from somebody to go do these tours, but you don't have time to fucking open CapCut on your phone, piece the shit together, and drop it to YouTube. Dude, this is a scheme, bro. This guy was a part of it. I'm sorry. With these type of fucking bullshits, this guy was 100% a part of this, and he's utilizing this footage he has and cutting out any aspect where he looks like an asshole. And he's going to try to paint everybody else as the villain, because on the off chance that somebody else one day makes a documentary about what happened, or there's an expose, he can be the first guy with the news to the scene. That's what he's doing. At this point, I can't see this any other way.
So he'll take you on a tour of places where Stan Lee was exploited for $500. He'll take you on the Los Angeles tour of Stan Lee being taken advantage of. I just don't know how that can be perceived as anything other than slimy. It's basically reducing the elder abuse Stan Lee suffered to a tour for you to go on for $500 with this guy who's treating it like like it's some kind of like attraction.
He's like, dude, welcome to Stan Lee Abuse Disneyland. Do you want to see where Stan Lee was gangbanged under an alleyway by a bunch of comic fans? Well, I can show you. I have the footage. If you pay me a gajillion schmeckles, I will show you where Stan Lee ran a train on, where a bunch of men lined him up and plowed him down. Oh, do you want to see the footage of that? Oh, gajillion schmeckles, please. Welcome to Stan Lee Abuse Disneyland. What the fuck, dude?
Like, it's just so not okay, I feel. For $8,000, you get an invite to the Emmys and the Governor's Ball.
What?
All right. Like, it goes
what?
on and on.
What the fuck does that even have to do with Stan Lee? How much is a ticket to the Emmys? How much is a tickets to the Emmys? Theater tickets, events date. Let's go. I don't know, dude. I can't find the cost here. I'm trying. Cost of tickets to the Emmys. I don't know, dude. How to get tickets to the Emmys without being a star. The cheapest was the mezzanine seating and complimentary parking at 500 and so okay, so if you want to do the live show and the whole thing, the tickets themselves are $3,500. So he's basically just upcharging $5,000, or he's about $4,000. He's upcharging $4,000, so that $4,000 will go to him and his project, and the other money will go to buying a ticket. That's basically what's happening. He's just upcharging tickets.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like 40 different reward tiers is an understatement. I think there's probably closer to like 60 or 70 different tiers of Kickstarter rewards here.
With your help, we can finish the film, expose the truth, and give Stan the justice he deserves.
As I mentioned, this footage that he has most likely will showcase a lot of the horrible things people have done to Stan Lee, and many times he was taken advantage of. But I don't feel like the goal of this film is to get justice for Stan Lee. It looks very different when you actually go through the page, all the rewards, all of the things that the money is going towards, and also when you remember the fact that he's had this footage for so long and is now just bringing it out for a Kickstarter pitch. I find it very...
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. We are actually going to go through the... We're going to go through the Stan Lee thing here in a second.
Weird.
That's all he's got. We're going to go through the actual Kickstarter real quick. Let's look at all the different ones so I can... So, rewards here. We'll go here. We're going to go through all the rewards if it'll ever load, and we're going to see what this gets you. $50. Okay, so we'll start with the beginning. Okay, so additional add-ons. Set of 6 size prints. $20. Add Roy Thomas's signature. $50 captured hero comic. Another $50 variant comic version. Captured another variant. Let's just go down the normal one. We got the set of 6 postcards, the comic, another $50 comic. Look at these okay, so we keep going. Holy shit, there's a lot. Let's get these are all just the comic. Okay. Let's say special thanks in comic book. So this is just adding another page to the fucking comic book. Movie poster signed by cast and crew. Group conference with a video conference, so you can have a fucking interview with the director for $125. You can get a limited signed photo. Q&A San Diego, California screenings and question and answer. Okay, so you can go to the thing. These are all the different places. You got it, Las Vegas, Nevada. More screening. This is just every fucking place that they're hoping to. Here's a group video with conference with cast and crew. limited edition hardcover tribute. So this is just like, oh, do you want to shake hands with these famous comic book people while fucking exclusive streaming Ben Shop Studio. You can go to the studio, original art from the art from a comic creator. Jesus Christ. This is all just like normal fucking, dude, Capture Hero foil variant. This is the fucking card. And here's the Abuse Tour. Special thanks, featured special thanks to the film. So you can get your name in the fucking credits. Meet and greet with Roy Thomas. Jesus Christ. This is, and I wonder how much money these guys are getting for this shit. This is where I'm getting questions. I mean, all gone. These are all gone. Like, they've already done these. Original comic layout by J. Scott Campbell. We got, these are already sold, dude. These sketches, Bruce Timm sketch. That's a nice sketch. Original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 cover recreation by the artist. Captured Hero, dude. Escorza, so they have a part. Like I'm hoping they're just like, we got an original Wolverine cover by Kevin Eastman. I hope that these guys aren't getting paid a cut of this, and they're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And I hope that, I don't know, some of this feels skeevy to me, bro. Got an original Ghost Rider page. Dude, there's so many tiers, dude. It's all drawings and shit. This is all almost feels baity to that comic collector. That they're doing the same thing that the guys did by fucking like shilling Stan Lee out to every single area. They're literally just, oh, do you like this comic creator? Well, you can buy his fucking original art. You can buy his original art. It'll go to a movie that makes me look like the hero. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, I hope that he wasn't a douchebag. I hope he wasn't a douchebag and wasn't a horrible person throughout this whole thing. And this is actually not disgusting. I don't have high hopes in it, but there's a lot of like, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of fucking merchandise being sold here. And it seems like how they were merchandising Stan Lee, dude. I don't know. That's my thoughts on that, guys. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe and typical bullshit. But I don't know, dude. The whole thing sits a little uneasy with me. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Doesn't take me long to pee. Alright, we got some more drama to be popped up here. I'm collecting drama like Pokemon cards. And the next one we got is Drewski Allegations by Jamari. I am very interested to see how this goes down. I find Drewski kind of funny, so I have no idea what these allegations are about or what they're from. I saw Drewski make a statement on Twitter. I will, while we're watching this, I'll bring that up and for extra context, he might bring it up in the video, but let's see what this is about.
So Drewski has been an up-and-coming star for around the last 4 years. He was ushered into the internet game around the same time as his good friend Jack Harlow, and it was like as Jack was rising up the ranks of music, Drewski was rising up the ranks of comedy. During that time, he has become the most infamous skit comedian online, and this has obviously afforded him many opportunities, including his own show, countless sponsorships and commercials, features in movies, steak and Happy Dad alcoholic beverages, a feature on 2K, a comedy tour, and frequent collaborations with the biggest streamers and comedians in the world. Basically, this man became a cash cow, as Drewski has an insane ability to take everyday situations and types of people and turn them into a viral skit or a meme. And his comedy just has this way of reflecting and predicting in real life situations. But now Drewski has found himself wrapped up in the Diddy situation, as he and his friend and popular wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., have been listed in some of these Diddy accusations. But the claims they are throwing around here are honestly so outlandish that it almost makes this hard to believe. Now, yesterday was when this bombshell would hit the timeline. In the matter of Ashley Parham versus Sean Diddy Combs, an amended complaint names 2 more plaintiffs and several additional defendants, including Odell Beckham Jr., Drewski, and a myriad of other people. So previously, it was just Ashley Parham versus Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh shit, dude! Drewski been loading up on the baby oil. Now, we are going to pull this in for more context, right? I am going to be here. The allegations is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for the actual victims of abuse, but I am fully confident that the evidence will expose that this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. Now, how accurate this is, I don't know. I know about as much information as everybody else does on the situation, but anytime there was the jokes toward Drewski during the whole when the P. Diddy thing came out, he was pretty fucking hesitant, and I thought it was just him playing it off for comedic effect, but who knows, dude, who knows? Maybe Drewski likes himself some baby oil and getting it slipped in.
And then a couple John Does that were not listed, and now those John Does, the main ones, have been listed as Drewski and Odell Beckham Jr.
And, I mean, like, not looking good, Drewski. I mean, the fact that you're thrown into it is not great, but I don't know much about his career other than recent stuff. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of recent stuff, and, like, obviously, Kai Cenat videos, like, take over shorts and TikTok and everywhere that shorts are consumed, you will see Kai Cenat and Drewski having fun.
Total Drewski's name is actually listed 45 different times in this lawsuit, but these are the key details that really make everyone think that this is
45 fucking times? Jesus Christ, dude. How many, like, I know Diddy's name's probably in there 5,000 times, but I want to know, compared to everybody else, how many times that is.
Pretty far-fetched. Defendant Diddy then instructed another defendant Doe to also violate plaintiff defendant Doe, who has been determined to be defendant Drewski, is what they're alleging. They say instead of immediately violating the plaintiff, defendant Drewski doused plaintiff with more oil and lubricant and then jumped on top of the plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide, and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his...
I'm sorry, dude. It's just there's just like, I just see Drewski like, I'm Drewski, and he's just spraying baby oil and like, Cowabunga, and slaps and slides off of him onto the floor like it's a fucking skit. Just
enormous size. So they're saying Drewski was in there slipping and sliding all around. Defendant Drewski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oiled body, and off the bed, he then began violating the plaintiff through her reproductive parts.
Oh, no.
While defendant Drewski was violating the plaintiff, defendant Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began pleasuring himself while recording plaintiff's violation by defendant Drewski. Another party's phone...
So they got this shit on fucking camera? Drewski, you might be cooked, dog. If it's on camera, I'm sorry, dude. If they got video footage of you doing it, well, that's fucked, dog.
On the bed near the plaintiff. The plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil/lubricant that had been doused all over her person by defendants Diddy and Drewski. Obviously, at this point, the baby oil is like infamous in this Diddy case. For those of you who don't remember, they claim that they discovered over 1,000 bottles of laced baby oil in Diddy's house.
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff.
I know I shouldn't be laughing at this, guys. I know that this is serious shit, and I feel bad that the people had to go through it. But, like, I can't get the image of Drewski fucking and P. Diddy sitting there spraying baby oil, and Drewski just slip running at full velocity and landing and sliding off of a person. It's such a funny image, and do I know it's horrible? Absolutely. But is it fucking hilarious at the same time? A little bit.
Allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Defendant Diddy began laughing at plaintiff's attempt to grab the phone. Throughout this violent gang violation, defendant Diddy made constant belittling remarks to plaintiff, including that he owned her now. When defendant Drewski was finished violating the plaintiff, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily function.
That's fucking gross, dude. That's bad. That's really bad. I don't have a funny retort for that one. That's just kind of disgusting and sad.
And they say this is when they attached her to an IV and pretty much brought her back to life, made sure she wasn't gonna die. And that was apparently when Diddy, Shane, who is apparently the man who introduced Diddy to this person, KK, Odell, and Drewski then exited the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. And so obviously this all had the internet going absolutely wild. Of course, people immediately started resurfacing old clips of Diddy hanging out with Drewski.
Don't mind if I do.
They were basically saying that this clip hits different now.
Dude, this is like to say that I saw the Conan, where he was talking to Conan about his parties, and it like how you have to turn the heat off so everybody wants to get naked and stuff, and how every clip with Diddy from now on, it's just gonna hit different. It's the same thing like when I was watching the movie Jack. There's a movie with Robin Williams where he's like an adult in a kid's body. Like he has this disease where he ages faster than everybody else, right? So when he's like 10, he looks like 30. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, but his doctor in the movie is Bill Cosby, and that movie hits different knowing that Bill Cosby's there.
It was also rumored that Diddy had been lacing drinks at his infamous parties.
I wouldn't, shot.
Dude, it's just such an awkward. It is very Drewski comedy here, though. That's very normal Drewski comedy. It's like how to make everything seem awkward and stuff. I did pull this up. I pulled this up for context to see here. I'm doing a little bit of investigating. Kind of, this is Soap Central. We can check out another one if chat wants me to check out another one. But I got right here. It says Drewski has been one of the most blah 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 blah, and then he's been took place in 2018. Now, the comedian has no time firing back on social media, denying the accusation, reminding people that he wasn't even famous during that time and had no connections to with Diddy. He said. And born in according to Yahoo News, he was uninspired and depressed due to these stories, and he's decided to leave school and move back with his mother. Persuaded by his friends, he started posting comedy skits on Instagram in October 2017. His big break came in 2020 when he started working with rapper Jack Harlow. Now, that kind of sets up a timeline to prove Drewski's didn't have the connections, and I haven't seen anything that disproves his claims yet. So right now, I just don't see anything that really has proven the fact that he could be there. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm not discounting what her experience was because it sounds awful. I'm just kind of, it looks like this Soup Central thing is the first thing. I mean, if we go to this, we can look at, from Drake to Kendrick, it doesn't say a timeline here. If I had a timeline, I mean, it just seems like he kind of popped up, around the 2020 era. And but I mean, he popped up in 2020 with Jack Harlow, but it doesn't show anything before that. So either the timeline's really fucked up, or it's also like she has the wrong year and maybe it happened later. I don't know. I'm not willing to say Drewski's 100% innocent without all the facts, but as I'm sitting right here, it looks like he could be innocent in this regard if it took place in 2018.
Drewski was also asked at one point what it was like to attend these Diddy parties.
You ever been to one of Diddy parties?
Yeah, I've been in attendance. Hey, what the fuck you smirking for?
You saying that?
I've been in attendance.
We just asking regular questions.
That's all I said. I said I've been in attendance. I have been in attendance.
We never been. We just asking. We just asking.
Yeah. As soon as you asked, he said,
"You had fun."
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, you did.
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, I mean, it was a party. I wasn't at one of them parties.
What party?
What party? I have been in attendance at a Puff party. You know what I'm saying? I've been in attendance. Yeah, I went. Yeah, the party I went to, it was girls turn up. You know what I'm saying? The regular. You know what I mean? Other celebrities and shit. Yeah,
that's what you do.
Now, obviously, Drewski does like to troll. Yes, his body language became a little bit uncomfortable, but you do have to keep in mind that thousands of different people have been to these Diddy parties, allegedly, and obviously...
And I mean, he was known as being, like, throwing the best parties in Hollywood and stuff. He's known as one of the... that's, like, what he was known for. So, knowing that some parties were just, like, fucking... Not all of them were eyes wide shut parties. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's not true or whatever. I'm not trying to defend Diddy. I think that there was shit that was going on, but to what extent, we don't know. And the timeline being as weird as it is, I don't know. But it is funny to think about Drewski fucking fat ass running into another room coated in baby oil and sliding on a person.
When they're all asked about it, they all say, well, you know, I went to the Diddy party, but I didn't go to, like, the Diddy party, like the behind the doors party that was going on. So then I started questioning, well, what was Diddy's real relationship with Drewski? And as you guys can see here, back in 2021, Drewski did have this show called Sneaking In with Drewski, and upon further inspection, you can see that this was airing on Revolt, which was a media network that was primarily owned and founded by Sean Diddy Combs. And although he no longer owns any shares in the company, back in 2021, he was still running that shit, and he presumably gave that opportunity to his boy Drewski. I also thought that this little tidbit was interesting because Odell Beckham Jr. and Drewski have been friends for quite a few years now. Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. struck up a friendship with Drewski upon finding his videos and invited the comedian to stay at his home during the COVID-19 pandemic. And obviously, the pandemic was back in early 2020, and that's where these dates really start not matching up because the
Yeah, dude, this is exactly what I was saying. Like, all of what I pulled up with those other dates, this is kind of proving it the same thing. That this is March 23rd, 2018. Like, the fact that he didn't even have his he didn't even start posting on Instagram till the October 2017. This would have had to have been within the span of like 6 to 7 months that he just was famous enough to get a PDT's house.
Defendant is saying that this happened on March 23rd, 2018, way before Drewski was even remotely famous or known online, where the defendant says that this guy Shane invited the plaintiff over to his home to assist him with his cancer medications because he stated he was weak and unable to open his medications. She says upon her arrival that this guy Shane wanted to give her a ride in his new car, and she says this is when this guy Shane pretty much set her up for the violation that allegedly involved Diddy, Drewski, and OBJ. Now, much like with Jay-Z with his recent Diddy accusations, Drewski would respond swiftly to this filing, where he says the allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke and living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation, so the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. So he kind of has the same stance that Jay-Z had back a couple months ago, saying this whole thing is a bunch of bullshit and the timeline isn't even really adding up. And of course, when something like this comes out, you're going to have a lot of people running with the story. Like this tweet that went viral where this girl says, I can't believe hashtag Odell Beckham Jr. and hashtag Drewski are in this new Diddy lawsuit taking turns violating this girl. Wow. You had other popular hip-hop and media pages saying Drewski did what? The same sentiment is shared here, ironically including this misinformation meme. Then you had people using Drewski's own skits against him.
That was, I think, a joke. I think that one was a joke.
Like this guy who says there's no way that this Drewski shit is real. Basically saying that was Drewski's reaction to this information. Another user says Drewski after someone didn't give him consent.
Dude, like, come on, be real.
I mean, it is funny watching Drewski squirm a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't think he had any involvement because of the timeline. Now, I'm not saying that he never had any involvement anywhere. I'm going to cover my basis in case this motherfucker ends up doing something creepy down the line. But for right now, the timeline's not adding up.
Specifically seems to really be leading the charge when it comes to these Drewski jokes about this very serious situation. He says Drewski's lawyer right now.
We got good and bad news. Good news, we got your payment, buddy. Bad news, they gave you life. Sayonara.
So yeah, it's just crazy to see this guy's own skits and various statements.
It's like, this is what makes it the funniest, is because it's Drewski. Like, he has so many skits and shit, and like this run right here, all I'm thinking of him is being naked in baby oil about to jump on somebody.
It's being used against him at this point, even if it is a joke. These are the type of things that people try to get off online, and they do end up going viral. And it's really all just for a couple little Twitter shekels and a little bit of clout. Like, it's not worth making this type of weird, shitty joke, whether you believe he's guilty for some reason or not. Because honestly, I think it's a whole bunch of nonsense. And
well, even if I don't think he's guilty, it's fucking funny.
It leads to other people making more serious statements like this. Okay, so now that Drewski was named in the Diddy lawsuit for a gang violation, this creepy skit he made in 2022 about guys getting girls drunk to have sex with them is aging so horribly. And it's like, does the person that posted this not understand that the entire point of this skit was to pretty much dog out guys that act like this?
Yep.
Like, the whole point of the skit is to say the guys who act like this are pieces of shit. Now, here is a clip from 4 months ago of this news network and of the lawyer representing this woman, Ashley Parham, in this case, and now these other two Jane Does, speaking on behalf of her client and the entire situation.
Well, her attorney says she was in her 30s at the time of this alleged violent attack. It happened just about half a mile away from the Orinda police station here in a quiet neighborhood about 6 years ago.
So yeah, 6 years ago, long before Drewski was known at all.
Ashley Parham says in 2018, Diddy and his entourage violently gangbang style her in Orinda. Her attorney, Ariel Mitchell, says it all started when she met a man named Shane Pierce in a bar in Contra Costa County, who began a FaceTime call with Diddy.
She actually... I mean, who? Shane Pierce. Let's look up Shane Pierce. Yeah. That's nothing. No, I'm not getting anything that like, I looked up Shane Pierce and Drewski and I'm not seeing anything. It's just like the timeline seems off, and it feels like they just threw these names in because they're popular names and they know they have association with Diddy. And I'm sure if there is an association, what is the association and how deep does it go? That could be a question.
Made a quip about Mr. Combs having something to do, that she didn't like him because he had something to do with Tupac's murder.
The lawsuit says Parham believed Pierce invited her over to set her up to be arrested by Diddy. The Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office told us in a statement, a report was taken on March 23rd, 2018. We take these cases seriously, and detectives thoroughly investigated the accusations. It was later determined the claims were unfounded.
And that does make things a little bit more interesting for me, because obviously a legitimate report was made at that time, but even back then the police say, well, we found no wrongdoing. As a matter of fact, they're saying we don't believe this ever even happened.
She also reported the incident to Walnut Creek Police and Orinda Police without naming Diddy, as she felt she would not be believed. The woman who lives there confirms Pierce lived there, but that he was too sick with cancer and ALS to have done this. She also says Pierce did not know Diddy.
So they're saying this guy has not only cancer, but also ALS. Now, if I really want to get into my conspiracy bag, I want to note here that I think that this all could just be a mastermind smokescreen being set by Diddy and his legal team. It's like Pokemon, okay? The accuracy goes down once you set the smokescreen. Because recently, the case against Jay-Z has been dropped without prejudice, which I believe means that they cannot, like, try to bring it back up in court. They cannot try Jay-Z again for the same thing. Obviously, there was a lot of holes in the timeline of that story. The accuser's own father said that he doesn't remember any of that taking place. And overall, the timeline and the series of events, especially when she came out on that news segment, just really were not adding up. And when the decision by the judge was made public and that entire thing was dismissed, Sean Combs' legal team would put out this statement. Today's complete dismissal by the 1-800 attorney is yet another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods, not facts. For months, we have seen case after case filed by individuals hiding behind anonymity, pushed forward by an attorney more focused on media headlines than legal merit. Just like this claim, the others will fall apart because there is no truth to them. Sean Combs has never essayed or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. No number of lawsuits, sensationalized allegations, or media theatrics will change that reality. We will continue to fight these baseless claims and hold those responsible for these false claims. This is just the first of many that will not hold up in the court of law. And that's why I have the feeling that this entire thing is a bit of a smokescreen. Because if you have enough of these outrageous allegations coming out, it allows you to kind of start poking holes and giving a little bit of reasonable doubt to accusations that could actually be legit.
This goes into that innocent until proven guilty thing, and I haven't talked about the Diddy thing. I mean, I made jokes about it because they're funny. I mean, the fact that they found like a gajillion pounds of baby oil is hilarious. I mean, it's just fucking hilarious that he has that much baby oil at his house. It's like, oh, I can't take a shit. Well, maybe drink some baby oil. It's funny. But if this all comes down to he doesn't get any charges brought against him, or he not charged, none of the charges stick, and he ends up walking away scot-free, and none of this like actually gets proven in a court of law, there's just too much doubt. And I think by including people like Drewski, it's only gonna muddy the timeline. Because even if, let's say this did happen to this girl, something bad did happen to her, and Diddy was involved, by bringing other big names into it to create a media frenzy, all you're doing is muddying the timeline and creating more reasonable doubt. Which now, looking at this, which previously I was all like, Diddy is a creep, and now I'm looking at this where the timeline makes absolutely no sense, where I can do the most small amount of research and prove that the timeline doesn't make sense. And now it's like, well, how much of this is accurate? How much of this is bullshit because of media frenzy? How much is this people coming out of the woodwork? Because this isn't as cut and dry as the Bill Cosby thing. Like with Diddy, they raided his house, they got the baby oil, and then we've been just waiting. We've been waiting. There's been like 4 Jane Does, I believe, and with Bill Cosby, there was like a gajillion people showed up out of nowhere, dude. It wasn't out of nowhere. There was like a few people that pulled cases against him, and then more and more. And it ended up being like 80 fucking women, dog. So this just seems a little different to all of those, and I'm not willing to go out on a ledge and say Diddy's innocent, because like I think all of these elite fucking guys are weirdos, right? They're all weirdos. They all have their little like cult thing going. They got their eyes wide shut parties, but I don't know I don't know about this lawsuit now, and this brings into question, because like the only way, and this is conspiracy mindset, right? If Drewski was broke, he found a job where he could he was like felicitating an elderly person, opening medicine bottles for him, kind of working as one of those in-home nurses, which is fucking hilarious to think of Drewski as a fucking in-home nurse. But he's working as an in-home nurse. This guy knows Diddy. He's got connections from him. Diddy wants to stress test fucking Drewski, so he lubes him up in baby oil and says slip and slide on a bitch. That is the only way this all makes sense. And that's a lot of hoops to jump through.
And it's like the more outlandish they get, like describing Drewski as using her as a slip and slide, and then the timeline not adding up at all, it just hurts the case for people who are possibly actual victims of abuse at the hands of P. Diddy. And at this point, it's like Diddy seems so seemingly stuck in this corner that it's like that's all they can do to kind of like alter the public perception a little bit. And as these cases start getting knocked down and dismissed, it kind of starts the social programming, and people start to think, well, maybe these other things aren't real either. And obviously on the other end of the spectrum, you're going to have a whole bunch of people just bringing up false claims because they want a payday, they want a settlement. It's just the way they describe the entire series of events just seems a little bit too outlandish for me personally to believe. And I think that it could definitely hurt real victims in this case. Either way, I want to know what you guys think about these accusations down below. As always, also want to thank you guys for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing. But as you guys know, it's been your boy, the Tan Superman, and some other
The Tan Superman, I like that.
lawsuits out here need to be covered. So
Yeah, so I think it's a really good video. I think it put it in the getting called fat in a lawsuit is wild. Drewski getting called enormous in a legal lawsuit as we die. So dude, this is just like I just thought it was so funny. I think this all is far fetched. Y'all still blindsided by people's fame. They all guilty. Maybe. And this is the thing. I'm not willing to say that they're all innocent or make a statement here. I will wait until we get some actual fucking court cases gone down. If they get some like, oh, well, he did it then. I mean, but right now we're just looking at like random bullshit. The timeline's not adding up. I think that, I mean, this is a good video. I think he did his due diligence. The video describes using like slip inside someone's and using someone's online name instead of their legal name. I'm not taking this shit serious, and that's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, it all sounded, I mean, it's so fucking wild that I literally died laughing at the beginning of this video. So, we'll see. I mean, definitely like and subscribe to my channel, guys. I don't know how much of this shit I'll cover. I thought it was kind of funny, so that's why we're here covering it. But, I don't know. It's definitely poking holes, and I'm not willing to go out on a limb and say P. Diddy's never done anything creepy and weird and not a scumbag, because I definitely think that there's a huge possibility that he has. So, but I just don't see Drewski's involvement being really there. That's all I got for you guys.
How often do you think?
Now, I got a couple more left to do today, and then I'm gonna fucking lay down and go to sleep because I'm sick and I want to die. But the next one we're going to do is Andrew Tate is imploding. Now, I want it to be known that I've never really liked Andrew Tate. I thought some of the videos when he first was coming up with Aiden Ross, I thought some of them were funny. I thought his rhetoric was kind of hilarious, and the fact that it was just so outlandish that the dude's touting for conservative values while pimping women out. Like, that's just so wild. Dude's like talking about just sleeping with all these different women, and it's like, dude, I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's the opposite. And I saw these like conservative guys kind of rallying around him, and it's like, dude, you guys have been preaching about like finding one girl and sticking with them and like monogamy forever, but then this is your idol, this is your guy. Get the hell out of here, bro. And I think that he's been doing skeevy stuff. He's been on camera saying he's been doing bad stuff for years, bro, for years. So I don't know. But this is from Too Lazy to Try. This is called Andrew Tate's Imploding. Let's get into it right now.
All these losers tweeting negatively at me who hate me so deeply because they saw a part of a YouTube video once and it offended them to their core. They can't stop tweeting against me. And Megyn Kelly thinks I'm bad and she's never even spoken to me. All these people are slave-minded.
All right, so it looks like The Matrix is attacking Andrew Tate once again. This guy just can't catch a break. Like, right when he thought things were about to turn around, The Matrix gets him again. And this time it's Ron DeSantis going after him. I guess he's dude,
it was so funny. The whole thing was he flew into Florida and they start looking into his sex trafficking, and it's like, wow, dude, there's actually some evidence here, and it's amazing.
Of The Matrix, and Tate didn't know it. Like, he thought going to Florida would be safe, but when he got there, DeSantis said he's not welcome there. And then the Attorney General announced a criminal investigation into the Tate brothers.
These guys,
bro's hairline is mad sad.
Have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors. People can spin or defend however they want, but in Florida,
dude, based. Here's the thing, dude. I don't understand how anybody's out here defending Andrew Tate. I don't. He's not your conservative Superman, bro. The dude is just as, every time you see those OnlyFans models and you're like, oh god, look at all these hoes. Look at all these fucking hoes out here just throwing their pussy online, and then you're like, but Andrew Tate's so based. You're literally the male OnlyFans douchebag is Andrew Tate, dude. He is just as bad as all of the OnlyFans girls you guys make fun of. Like, come on, dude. The dude's an absolute clown.
Type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it.
And then Tate tried to spin this like they're only going after him for political reasons because DeSantis thought that Tate might endorse Byron Donalds for governor over his wife, who's talked about running. But then after Tate said this, Byron Donalds came out and said he also doesn't think Tate should be in Florida. and he supports the Attorney General launching an investigation.
Dude, burned. Bro just fucking smoked him. Because here's the thing. Andrew Tate was like, there's one good thing that came out of Andrew Tate's existence. The one good thing was to bring up the conversation of how men were feeling in the overall zeitgeist at the time. There was a lot of anti-male sentiment online. So to have somebody just come out that was unabashedly pro-man was honestly better to curb the kind of disgusting rhetoric we had at the time of being about men, just all men sucking. There's all men sucking. It was just like, you go to the internet, straight white dudes are straight white dudes, straight black dudes, straight dudes in general were the scourge of the earth. They were the worst. They were society's underbarrel. And to have somebody come out that was unapologetic about it kind of brought a cultural talking point about what have we've done, where we've gone wrong. And it shows that there was something wrong societally when somebody who's as egregious as Andrew Tate, who's out there just like pimping girls out, dude, he's able to create power online because of the fact that there's such it was just refreshing to see somebody come out pro-man. And that's the problem when you kind of silence a bunch of voices online, that when you do have somebody outrageous come out, it takes somebody outrageous to show the holes in the society. I mean, it's just blatant pendulum swinging is what was happening. And I don't think that, as good as that is for changing like a cultural thought, I don't think that ever seeing Andrew Tate as somebody to emulate was ever a good thing. I don't think it was. The dude was just kind of an asshole from the beginning.
Tate brothers.
Do you support the Attorney General's actions here?
I do. I think those allegations have to be fully investigated. The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women.
Are Andrew and Tristan Tate welcome in Florida?
No, quite frankly, not.
Yeah, so pretty much everything here just backfired for the Tates. It's hilarious. Like, they're so happy to finally be able to leave Romania, and the first place they choose to go is Florida, but now they have another case to fight because of that, and they had to flee the state already.
Dude, they dipped out so fast. They basically just fucking packed their bags and left instantly. Because here's the thing, dude, they barely passed. Like, I don't know. I know they won the case in Romania, so I don't know what ends of trafficking they've been under, but I know that it was enough to like actually get them pulled down. And then soon as they get something pulled against them in Florida, they dip, they run to another country. That doesn't look good.
But while Tate was there, he managed to do some podcasts like PBD, Nelk, and Candace Owens, of course. You know, she always has to defend him the most.
Dude, Candace Owens on the anti-Jew cast, bro. She was over there like, dinosaurs don't exist and the Jews are the worst thing to ever hit the world. That is basically that whole podcast. Well, I don't know if she brought up the dinosaurs thing, but Candace Owens is an absolute brainlet.
Since her husband's good friends with him, like, she would do anything for Tate. I mean, she literally defended a convicted child molester to help Tate. So Tate went on her podcast.
Dude, I love that she took the kid that was like 15 at the time or whatever, said the kid's name, right? But she's like, I'm not going to say Keith Fox. She didn't say his name. I'm not going to say the other guy's name because we protect people's identities here, while blasting the kid, only to find out this Keith Fox guy was like wildly proven to be an absolute goblin.
And basically just had a meltdown and almost started crying.
And what have I done since I've arrived? I did Patrick Bet David and sat on my laptop. That's all I've done. I've done Patrick Bet David, I sat on my laptop, and I had Taco Bell. And I've got a criminal investigation?
Yeah.
What the f***? It doesn't even make any sense. I'll be honest, Candace, if I was a slightly more sentimental man...
I'll be honest, Candace. I'll be honest. When I have the 12-year-olds in my basement, I say they're all allowed to be 12-year-olds in my basement. What color is your Bogutoy?
Part of me wants to cry because this is so ridiculous. This is so heartbreaking and so sad. For 4 solid years, every single day, I have protected my reputation for 4 solid years. And for the first time in 4 years, I finally had a genuine smile on my face. That private plane to Florida, I land to another preliminary investigation. Why? Why? I haven't done anything to anybody. You want to find a criminal, there's plenty of them out there.
So he was going through it, and he kept flipping out about
Dude was melting down, bro. I don't know if that was the time that he went off about the Jews. I know she probably brought up the Jews, but it's just, there's a lot of anti-Jewish sentiment coming from Candace Owens right now, which I think is kind of funny. she's just always just the worst takes. Candace Owens always has the worst takes, and like the whole conservative zeitgeist. I'm sorry, like I don't want to tell people who they should and shouldn't like, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're getting your news from Candace Owens, you're not getting good news. Just find anybody else. There's like 87,000 other conservative pundits out there. You should probably listen to them over the lady that's literally defending Andrew Tate right now.
And at one point, he tried acting tough by being like, come get me. I have nothing to hide. I'm right here in Miami. I'm not leaving. But then right after this, of course, he fled Florida. And also while he's ranting about this, he's like, I'm not scared. Come take my phone. You think I have evidence on there? You really don't think I wipe my phone every night? Which is obviously...
Somebody who has evidence does not need to fucking wipe their phone every night. He's just got endless videos of Drewski sprinting in baby oil and landing on women like a slip and slide. That's his entire phone history.
Interesting thing to say if you're innocent and have nothing to hide. So this podcast was going really well for him.
Want to play these games? I'm right here in Miami. I'm right here in Miami. Come get me, arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Fucking come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me. Let's do this all over again. I've done it for 4 years in Romania.
It's so funny because the reason he used to tout up Romania is because he could bribe his way out of anything, and then he got arrested in Romania.
You think I'm scared of your state jail after an Eastern European gulag? I'm staying right here until the case is concluded, because when I beat it here, then what they're going to say? I beat it in England, I beat it in Romania, and I beat it in Florida.
And he hasn't beaten any of those cases, and he just left Florida, so I guess he wasn't that confident. But it seems like Candace will go all out trying to defend Tate. I mean, she was really fired up during this podcast, obviously because her husband and Tate go way back. And if Tate really is a pedophile sex trafficker, then it's not really a great look for her husband. So she'll do anything to defend him. And she started going off on DeSantis, and she demanded for an investigation into him. She's like, I want DeSantis's phone. I want the Attorney General's phone. Like, she's just in charge of everything. It was so funny. And this was the one moment where Tate actually had some hope, and you could tell he was like, all right, that's what I'm talking about.
What should be happening right now is left and right pressure should be put on Ron DeSantis and this Attorney General to make a statement as to why that was done, under what grounds a preliminary investigation is done. I want to know, what is the legal route to getting Ron DeSantis' text messages that day? I want to know who was texting Ron DeSantis. Is it a FOIA request? Who was emailing Ron DeSantis and texting him? I don't want your phone. I want his. Okay?
Yeah.
Your phone makes no sense to me. I want Ron DeSantis' phone. I want the Attorney General's phone. I want Utmeyer's phone.
It looks like I'm looking here at fact check, right? I'm looking here at fact check. I gotta add close. We'll say here. Was Andrew, this is the closest thing I can find, but has not been tried, convicted, or sentenced. He was arrested in late 2022 of suspicion of blah, 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 and participating in organized crime. It doesn't look like he has been convicted of anything. I don't know if he's beaten it. It so far I haven't found anything that says he's beaten it either, but I'm trying to make sure that I come off as genuine and not just saying that the dude's done all this stuff, but I don't know if he's beaten the cases.
I want to know what donors texted you and told you to move, because you were moving for donors and money and corruption, no different than a George Soros DA was doing. And I don't care if it's left or right, wrong is wrong.
You nailed it.
So that podcast was basically them just flipping out the whole time. And Tate's other appearances weren't much better. Like, he went on PBD's podcast and he kept yelling about how he gets more hate than Epstein, which Tate and his fans always bring up to try to defend him. They're always like, well, what about Epstein? Like, they defend Andrew's trafficking charges by bringing up one of the most notorious human traffickers ever. Like, if you ever have to resort to what about Epstein to defend yourself, it's not looking too good. And Tate acts like Epstein isn't one of the most talked about people. I mean, Rogan just had a huge episode with Ian Carroll, and they went...
All right, here we go. We got something here. We got it from AP. Now, I know AP is not always the most reliable. They can be, but the decision by the Court of Appeal is a huge setback for the anti-Romanian organized crime agency. But this does not mean Tate and the two women walk free. The case has not been closed, and there's also a separate legal case against the brothers in Romania. So from what I found so far is he hasn't actually beat the case yet, but they don't have enough evidence against him to try him. So there's still questions up in the air on if he did it or not. They haven't actually gotten actual evidence against him enough to run the trial. So who knows? Who knows? This is a completely different situation than Epstein, where everything is just legitimate. And also it's like one of those things that it's like, it's not like this could be in the same category as Epstein, but it's also not, because not everything has been found against Tate yet. So we don't know. We just don't know. So you either believe Tate and he's done nothing wrong ever, or you look at like the people that say Tate has done everything wrong. And so far, a court hasn't really been able to prove that. We got a lot of shit up in the air with Andrew Tate. I think he's a scumbag. I mean, just from the idea that he's talked about how to facilitate bottom bitches and all this stuff. I don't understand why conservatives like latch onto him so much when he vehemently preaches against like decent values. I don't get it.
Deep into Epstein and his connections to Israel, and this is on one of the biggest media platforms in the world. So Epstein still gets a ton of attention. I mean, so many people on Twitter were sharing clips from that podcast, and obviously the episode's going to get tens of millions of views. And if you're interested, I'm going to be talking about that over on Patreon, that Ian Carroll episode, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, Tate claims people are using him to distract from Epstein. Like, people can't just focus on them both and dislike them both.
I mean, if we're able to focus on Epstein and Diddy, we're able to focus on you, Epstein and Diddy. I mean, there is like a bunch of shit going on. You have said multiple times on fucking camera, like unabashedly talked about how you're a piece of shit. So it's not like you have to go and do a lot of research to figure out that Andrew Tate isn't a solid dude.
More hate than Epstein does. You know this human trafficking crap?
Yeah.
They hate on me more with no convictions, not a single picture of a victim, not a single girl on the news saying I hurt her, zero. I get more hate than Epstein.
Well, we've never heard this guy's voice. You're one of the leading voices in the world.
I wonder if it's because the people who were on his island own the media. Ever crossed your mind? Maybe it's interesting. Maybe the people who are on his list own the media, and they're like, no, we didn't do human trafficking. This guy did.
And even if that is what the media is doing, is he not doing the same exact thing right here? And I mean, he just uses all the same tactics while he's criticizing the media for those tactics. Then also at one part, he brings up P. Diddy, another sex trafficker to compare himself to. So this is an interesting strategy here to be like, I'm innocent, but there's so many similarities between my case and P. Diddy's. Like at one point, he compared the release of that tape of Diddy beating his ex to the media campaign against him, because like Diddy, Tate also had a video resurface of him where he's beating his girl, who's only 15 at the time. Ooh. So Tate starts...
See, I mean, like, this is how can you fucking defend this guy? How can you fucking defend it like these guys? Like, it's so fucking blatant that he's not a chill dude. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Going off about how he can relate to Diddy, which is a weird thing to admit.
Wait. I don't know Diddy. Never spoken to him. I'm not defending him, because what they're about to say is Andrew Tate, sex trafficker, defends sex trafficker. No, what I'm saying is they've decided to wreck him. I don't know his side of the story. He may be guilty. His side of the story might be, yeah, I did it, but so did this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. I'm only asking why only him? Because I think that's a far more interesting story. I know how this works, so I saw it and called it. This came out of nowhere. This was stored somewhere in the Matrix archives. When they decided to take him down, first thing you do is slander him, just like they did to me. Before we were arrested, there was a media campaign trying its very best to paint us as bad people. Why did this appear now? Why has this been said now? Why are they putting it out today?
Well, here's the thing, too. Andrew Tate is... I will never say Andrew Tate's like an idiot, right? I think there's a lot of people that go out and say that Andrew Tate's like a big idiot or whatever. I don't think he's a dumb guy. I think he is incredibly intelligent. And I think this argument right here shows kind of his intelligence, because it does make sense why it's kind of always feels like a coordinated effort. They find they don't like somebody, they start looking into them deeper, then they start pulling any straw they can find to try to, and this isn't just like a media thing, this is what people do in general. You can see somebody who's like schizo posting about creators online do this all the time. I mean, we watched this happen with Dogpack, where he pulled a bunch of straws, and then all of his bullshit really didn't land that hard with Mr. Beast. It started out really good, but then it kind of fell apart when the evidence really wasn't there to back him. So I think an argument like this does make you more sympathetic to kind of like what Tate's going through, but it also doesn't hide the fact that he did those things. So that's the problem that's having here, is it's like, okay, well, you still have a video of you beating a 15-year-old. That's not great, bro. What the fuck is the story behind that? Well, the Matrix is trying to get me.
What is their further intentions? Why him? Why not the others? Why are we not talking about Andrew Tate's charity, TatePledge.com, where he gives $25 million a year away? Why are we not talking about the dog shelters he runs in Romania?
Oh, that's such a fucking iDubbbz tactic. That's such a fucking skeevy iDubbbz type tactic. Oh, you can't get mad at me because I donate to fucking charity. Go fuck yourself, dude. I hate that shit. That's such a fucking old bullshit that they've been doing forever. It's like, oh, I'm not a bad guy. Look at my fucking charity. Oh, dude, that's such an iDubbbz tactic. Oh, I can't. Creator Class 2 wasn't a failure because I begged for money on stream. Oh, fuck off.
Why are we only talking about an old joke he made 10 years ago? Why? Nobody thinks why for any of this. And then
dude, an old joke is a lot different than a video resurfacing of you beating a girl with a belt.
They get played like a fool.
And I love that Tate just randomly threw that in there, that he's donated money to charity and opened a dog shelter. You know, apparently he thinks you're getting played like a fool if you don't question why people focus on his sex trafficking charges instead of him opening up a dog shelter. So when Epstein and P. Diddy got busted, if you didn't think, wait, why is the media focusing on sex trafficking and not their philanthropy, then you're getting played like a fool. I mean, if anybody did bring that up in their defense, that would just make them seem even more guilty. So Tate, him mentioning this is not a good look. You know, it's so obvious what he's.
I don't care how many charities you fucking have. It's not a shield. I'm sorry. Like I saw it as people use it as a shield for iDubbbz for years, and I'm doubling down that it was fucking bullshit, and he mishandled the charity, and he should have been criticized for it. But instead, he made an apology video how he was racist at one time. It was fucking stupid, and completely shifted all of the narrative away from. Yeah, people just fell back to that apology video instead of criticizing him on his shit with Froggy Fresh, criticizing him on his misuse of funds. But well, he made it all better because he did the fucking begathon. No, it's fucking cringe. And this is just shifting eyes away from the fact that he has videos out there where he talks about sex trafficking kids and like 15, 16, whatever it is in America. That is a quote from him. And then we're fucking talking about his charity. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Trying to do. And his lawyer, he tried to do this on Timcast, and he's like, even if you think everything the Tates have done is true, they've still done much more good for the world than bad, which is pretty crazy to be like, all right, even if you guys accept that they have trafficked minors, at least they've donated some of the money they made from trafficking them, so there's still a positive to society.
That him and Tristan do with Tate Pledged. They give millions and millions of dollars all the time to build wells, to give food. These are good men who have done a lot of good for the world, right? Even if you accept all the allegations against them is true, the amount of good that they've done for the world tremendously outweighs the bad, and people don't see it.
And I don't know how a lawyer doesn't realize how stupid this sounds.
That sounds so fucking bad. That sounds so fucking bad. Again, iDubbbz. This, like, obviously, this guy is worse than iDubbbz. I'm going to make that correlation. Somebody's going to take me out of context, think I'm comparing iDubbbz to Andrew Tate. It's just this is just a tactic where I know where it's something I've covered before, where I've seen the correlation, and I'm looking at it here again. That is all I'm doing. But it just looks bad always whenever you try to shield yourself from criticism using charity and shit. I hate it.
Like, if your client is accused of sex trafficking and you defend them by bringing up how they donate money to charity, I don't know if that really helps their case at all, because I mean, Jimmy Savile, Jeffrey Epstein, P. Diddy, they all did a lot of charity work and made sure it was really public. And Ghislaine Maxwell, like, after Epstein first got busted, she started donating money to a charity for sex trafficking victims. Like, she thought it would cancel out what she was doing. So they just make it so obvious that they're trying to whitewash their crimes through.
Dude, how could I have trafficked all these children when I've given money to anti-sex trafficking? Duh. I'm the good guy here. Don't look in my basement where there's endless kids up for getting slap attacked. I know I have the entire ending of Baraska in my backyard, but I've donated to anti-sex crimes charities.
Charity work. So it seems like Tate kind of uses the same playbook as them. You know, also like Epstein, it sounds like he might have had a blackmail operation too. Like, he once said the reason people want to be friends with him is the same reason people want to be friends with Epstein. And he said all his girls are spies and record every conversation. And he claims he could honey trap a president with his main girl if he wanted to. And that girl, he admitted he met when she was 14 or 15, and he was in his mid-20s, and then he groomed her into sex work. And before Tate blew up on the internet and became famous, like when he's just known for being a pimp, he still had some high-profile friends, like Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer.
I've known Andrew for many, many years. I've known Andrew since before Andrew was Andrew. You know what I mean? I've known Andrew since before he was famous, I guess. Andrew is a great guy. He really is.
And this is where you should always ask questions. And this is something I've said multiple times when I've covered Hassan and some of these other these like left-wing gooners, like your Destinies, your Hassans, your Denims. And I think this needs to be said on any side. And I've made this blatantly clear to my audience. Anytime you're watching any of these political people and you're like, oh, well, he stands up for my side, he's on my side, so he's a good guy. Always question everybody. Never take anything as blatantly fucking true. I mean, this is where I have gone and taken down against Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire on how they had heard of squirrel stapler. I have never heard of a squirrel stapler. But you see people take down I've stood up and talked about how the disingenuousness of the Daily Wire against Steven Crowder and what is it, News Mommy, Brett Cooper. And I think that even if somebody appears on your side, you should question them. You should question what they are. You should never just take everything they say as 100% factual. Always do your own research. Always be looking for connections. You should never be the guy that's like, oh, I think everything they said is based and true because they're agreeing with me right now. I just think that you should try to make yourself as well-rounded of an individual as you possibly can.
And he's a wonderful guy in many ways. Like all humans, he's flawed. Off camera, I think he'll be the first person to admit that. Like, he's a flawed human being.
I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away.
I know Andrew pretty well, and as I said, I know that he's full of flaws.
And dude. So Chad just asked me what squirrel stapler is, right? And I looked this bitch up, right? It is a squirrel stapler on stream. In this game, you play as a man who wants to make his dead lover beautiful by stapling squirrels to her. What the fuck is this game, dog? What? So this is like do you just go hunt squirrels and staple them to your chick? What the fuck is this? Oh, dude, I've never heard of this. That's interesting. I might have to look that up later. That's wild.
I made a video last year about his connection to Tate and why Candace defends Tate so much. And I speculated that him and Tate probably used to party together. So if that's true, then Tate probably has some dirt on him or knows some shit about him that Candace probably doesn't even know. And him and Candace actually tried to address this theory, and it was just really awkward. Like, Candace kept laughing about it and saying how ridiculous it is because she's only met Tate a handful of times, which doesn't really matter because the theory is that he has dirt on her husband, not her. And her husband said him and Tate go way back. And Candace has a picture of him in her home office. So it definitely seems like Tate is a close friend of her husband.
I don't know him that much. And then just look behind her. There's just a shrine to Andrew Tate. It would be way more funny if they were making out. Dude, just imagine her office just has her husband. It's just a bunch of pictures of her husband making out with another dude.
And he barely says anything about it here. They basically just try to joke about it and act like it's so insane. Like, who would even believe it? But it's funny because Candace is the one that thinks pornographers use sex workers to get blackmail on people so they can control them. So I just applied that theory to her husband and Tate. But now she's acting like, oh, it's so crazy. How could anybody think this?
Well, and here's the thing too. You have a lot of the people in the right wing, the world, like the right wing values, who think that pornography is very, very bad, right? It's all bad. Any porn involvement is a bad thing, right? But then they're willing to just stand up for Andrew Tate 24/7. It's a blatant hypocrisy. I don't understand why. I understand why Tate has the fan base he does. I understand that hustle mentality. But to pretend that this is the dude who's going to champion conservative values, which I've saw for a long time, and I'm like, hold the fuck up, dude. This guy is not that guy. This guy's your typical high school, college dude wanting to hustle money guy. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just don't understand why so many conservatives rallied behind him when he's obviously not for your values, bud. He's not your guy.
I mean, it just makes no sense. And also, I don't know if Candace is aware of this, but Tate's right-hand man, who is like the head of his war room, is a Zionist. So I'm sure if Candace's husband didn't know Tate and wasn't involved in this, then she would be all over this theory. You know, this is right up her alley. But since her husband's involved, obviously it's a different story. And hopefully she doesn't figure out that Tate has a Jewish handler, because she'll just lose her mind.
This one that has emerged is definitely my favorite. That Andrew Tate has blackmail on you. It's just like,
Top G.
where did the Top G's
got blackmail
on you? They're like, this is why. I'm like, what is anybody ever talking about? I can count, I literally think on 5 fingers how many times I've even met Andrew Tate. 2 of them were the times I was interviewing him. Once at the Trump Hotel. I think it's 4. I think the total number is 4. Yeah, it's crazy. And so they think that they've developed this whole thing where like he's known you your whole life and he knows where all the bodies are buried. I'm like, people on the internet are mad, but I love a good conspiracy theory, so I love to read them about myself, especially.
Like, he hasn't told me if he has.
If he does.
Maybe he does.
Andrew Tate, also, if you are watching.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, he's came out and said that they've known each other most of their life, so it's like, I don't know. You got pictures of him hanging out with your husband on your wall, so it's not a great look.
And you have a blackmail file on us, please let us know, okay?
Exactly.
Don't let randos on the internet know about that.
Yeah, so she really cleared things up here and proved that theory wrong. I mean, honestly, at this point, it might be better for them if people think her husband is being blackmailed, because at least that would explain why she defends someone as depraved and degenerate as Tate, because this is obviously not a good look. And when she talks about Tate, it almost sounds like she knows he's guilty, but she thinks he should get a pass because so many other people do it. I mean, it's so weird when she talks about him, because she'll also talk about how we need to crack down on pornographers because they're all using sex traffic women, which if that's the case, then shouldn't this be a good thing that they're going after Tate? Like, he made most of his money from that. His brother said he's gotten more girls into sex work than anyone else. And they also taught a course on how to...
If you're thinking this is all bullshit, right? This is easily Googleable. You can, like, pull up these clips all fucking day, dude. You can find clips of Tate saying this shit constantly, dude. Constantly. It's so easy to find all this information on him, but people will memory hole it or just pretend it never happened. You see the Tate guys kind of pull the same Hassan Piker bullshit where it's like, oh dude, yeah, you can't look this direction because that proves us fucking wrong and we're fucking retarded, to be honest.
Separate a girl from her friends and family and make them fall in love with you so then you can get them into sex work. And he probably taught this to tens of thousands of people. And the method he describes sounds a lot like the Loverboy method, which is a form of sex trafficking. So Andrew and Tristan Tate might have been teaching tens of thousands of people all over the world how to sex traffic women. So if Candace really did want people to crack down on this stuff, you would think she'd be happy that these guys might finally face some consequences. But of course not, since her husband is friends with them. Instead, she'll defend them as much as she can.
Does anybody care about...
Well, I mean, we already knew Candace Owens was a grifter. Let's be honest. She saw she wasn't getting the right type of viewership when she was a left-wing pundit, so then she switched to the right-wing pundency, wrote a book on leaving the plantation, and has gotten appeal utilizing her race in conservative policies. That's all she does. She is a grifter through and through. She's been a grifter for a very long time, and now it's just she's utilizing those same grifting techniques to protect the Tates.
The hundreds of thousands of American children that are missing? No. The only human sex trafficking that matters is when it's Andrew and Tristan Tate. Have you ever seen any of the pornographers, the people that are making billions off of pornography, get arrested? Because we know for a fact that those websites are using trafficked women.
I have recruited, I think, although you've worked with a lot, more girls into, I guess, the adult entertainment industry than anyone else. I really have.
You ever seen them crack down on any of those pornographers? Why haven't they done that? So you want me to believe, you want me to essentially just, I guess, defy all of my sensibility for a moment and believe that it's Andrew and Tristan Tate.
On CobraTate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is, PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm,
Clever.
and that,
Dud hump? What the fuck?
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them.
Why, dude, this really holds up conservative values, dude. This is really this is your guide. This is conservative Superman right here. Literally pimping girls into webcam service. Great guy. Really great individual. This is the guy you want to emulate your entire life after. That's him. This is Timothy.
Why does the media hate these two men so much when we know there are worse villains?
Yeah, and she pretty much admits there that they're villains, but there are worse villains out there. So that means she'll defend Tate, promote him, promote Hustlers University. I mean, she's just turning into a Tate shill. It's wild.
Actually, you're so right. Like, I wish I had not been a fool and taken out $100,000. I paid it back.
Yeah.
But I learned nothing. And I would have rather have spent the $49 on the Hustler University program so I could learn what skill set, here's what they're using. He literally said he learned editing skills that somebody else would have paid $150K to learn.
Yeah, we're doing very well. And
so it's $49. Tell me again how it works.
so it's $49 a month. You get access to 18 modern.
Bro, just it's $49 a month. We will teach you how to pimp all the hoes. And if you want to keep a bunch of girls in your basement locked up, you feed them once a day. You make sure that they're always naked on cameras and slapping their clit to the right degrees, at the right angles, and then you're a millionaire.
Wealth creation method.
Conservative values.
Like, who the hell would promote Hustlers University? Why would she be doing this? It's so embarrassing. But she's all in. I don't think she's ever going to stop helping the Tates, which is just funny. I mean, I love watching her do mental gymnastics trying to defend Andrew. Like, maybe she can find a way to shift the blame onto Tate's Jewish spiritual advisor, wizard person, Miles Sonkin, or Iggy Semmelweis he goes by. That guy's a character. Like, recently he did this really cringy podcast with another one of Tate's cronies, and it was so embarrassing. I talked about that over on Patreon. Make sure you check that out along with over.
If you want to check out his Patreon stuff, you definitely can. I don't know I just don't. I know that when I see the Tates, right? I thought it was funny for the memes when they first came out. I definitely was like, this is kind of hilarious. The rhetoric's funny. I thought that a lot of the stuff was funny. I will watch something even if I disagree with it. If it's there for the memes, like I will enjoy the shit out of it. But my thing through the entire situation was just like, I was like, okay, I get the sentiment where it's like men aren't being men anymore. It's like being masculine's being kind of vilified on the media, which was true. And I understand what kind of gave him the rise to popularity. My problem was after all the stuff came out about him, it was like there was a million other people now doing the same sentiment that weren't scumbags, right? They weren't absolute scumbags, but they were still rallying around Andrew Tate. They were still jumping and willing to suck down every inch of his shaft when he was doing absolutely seedy, gross stuff. And I think that if you are a fan of anybody, even you should be willing to look at them with a critical eyes. You should never be willing to fully play defense for them. That is not your job. It is never your job to play defense for another person, another company, all these things if you don't personally know them. Like, I understand why Candace and her husband are doing defense because they're actually friends with him, and that's just what friends do. I'm not mad that they're doing that. I'm saying that it's coming off as a grift because that's what it feels like. It feels like a big old grift. But that's all I really got on that one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and like and subscribe. Now, I am going to re-up my drink. I will be right back momentarily. I love you guys all. I will 2 seconds here. I just needed something with carbonation because my sickness is killing me. But this is the last video I'm going to go into today. I think this has been a very productive stream. I've gotten a lot done. This will be a lot to clip up and pump the channel into the atmosphere where I can make both the left and the right mad at me all the time. That is my goal, I guess. But right now we're going to be talking about activists now demand you buy their game for the most expensive way possible. And I am so sick of the AAA industry doing this, where they just shove slop into our into the atmosphere and then get mad at us for not buying it. This is by Sunday Grand Studios. This guy has a very dry delivery, but he usually can land on a lot of his jokes. I really enjoy his content, but let's get right into it.
Thank you for joining me. Today I hope to address the games industry as well as gamers regarding a recent game launch and public conduct regarding the intentions of that game. It has been directly requested of me by people all across the games industry as well as gamers all around the world to represent their voices and feelings and help steer the industry away from hiring malpractice.
Don't ever think that I'm the guy to heighten your voices and feelings. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that does the weird sex jokes online. I am the loud, obnoxious chaos guy. I am here to have as much fun as possible with the little platform I have. I am not the guy you come to for all of the best views, the best points. I'm here to have fun. I like this kind of stuff, but don't ever think I am the champion of your thought process.
And self-serving corporate fixation, and help guide the industry back toward creativity and integrity. Due to my position as a working professional in the industry, it is important I remain impartial as I listen to understand all perspectives regarding topics that affect the state of the industry. It is for this reason I do not single out, target, or name games from small or medium-sized development teams, as it is already challenging for that size of development studio to maintain profitability and bring positive attention to their products.
Well, and I think there's also a different standard that we set for those smaller end developers. Those smaller guys just trying to be hungry for their bone and suck a good boner. They're out there gonna make the game that they want to make, and I respect them for that. If you're out there with like a small indie team, you want to make a game that centers around your political viewpoints or your worldview, nobody complains about that because you're an indie developer. That's what you do. If you want to go out and make something on your own and it's your own artistic thing, like you might have a certain fan base that you really don't want to buy that game or be a part of that game. It's not really that big of a deal because at the end of the day, your indie game is probably going to be anywhere from like $3 to $30, and that's not really the main industry. Because like the problem with these big industry games isn't the fact that they go in with the same mindset that an indie game would go in, right? But they want to charge like $70, and then they get mad and they have every single media outlet write articles about how gamers are these absolute like troglodyte monsters and racists and stuff because they didn't buy their game when they weren't trying to market it to a broader audience. That's the problem.
Today I will make a modest exception as we discuss Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage from Don't Nod Entertainment. I make this exception firstly due to the gravity of the topic we need to discuss, and secondly, nobody is going to hear of this game or much less purchase it anyway. The situation regarding this title is made worse by the developer of the game, Don't Nod Entertainment, silencing people who do not praise Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage. It is important I research and understand these games that I address, but I must apologize to Don't Nod Entertainment because when I was looking up their new game, Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage, I did nod off. So I may not have an entirely complete understanding of this puberty simulator made for children. This software title is designed entirely to rely on manipulative tactics to force players to feel obligated to purchase their game, whether it is through the superficial and incompetent...
Well, and I think if you're doing stuff like this too, where you're trying to manipulate the audience, I don't like that type of stuff. And I mean, this does seem like more of a AA. When I was talking about the stuff before, I was talking about like indie titles. And to be honest, this isn't in that crazy price range, and it's something that's just going to be kind of like a culture war punching bag is what I'm seeing kind of going on with it. It's, I don't know, dude. I don't think that this is like that indie darling that I was talking about. Like the indie stuff usually is marketed as a certain audience, and I think even if you market it and you have like this idea that you don't want certain people playing your game or whatever, I still don't think you should censor that, because here's the thing: once you start censoring negative talking about your game, you're also going to ruin the aspect of people who are going to defend it. Which the great thing as a developer, like let's say I made a game that was like, I hit all of the SJW talking points or the woke talking points out. I hate those terms, but I hit all those talking points that gets the anti-woke guys mad, right? well, you were instantly going to then strengthen the audience that you originally wanted. So I don't understand why you would censor discontent from it, because you're just going to only embolden your audience as well.
Depiction of the 1990s, or leveraging gender and sexual identity in the form of its in-game characters. This is a software title manufactured by people who openly hate gamers and are setting out to manipulate marginalized people, like those who are not straight, into submitting to a self-centered and narrow worldview in which other people only have value if they echo the exact same political and ideological views. In response to the launch of Lost Records Bloom and Rage, a self-described entertainment lawyer focused on complex rights deals, film, and TV finance published a post on social media site masquerading as a professional platform where adults may network and meet, LinkedIn. In this post, this entertainment lawyer lectures consumers of the following points at length. People must purchase the game at full price, ideally pre-ordering and buying the deluxe version. People must play it. People must get other people to buy and play it in the most expensive way possible.
That's just such a fucking stupid way to do this, dude. Dude, buy our fucking game, but you can't buy it on a sale. Buy it full price or you're a fucking piece of shit. I'm gonna take my nutsack and scratch it across your nose. You get all the sludge and it never comes out.
This person reiterates you must buy these products because they focus on identity, supremacy, and politics that align.
I do think he needs to put the post up here, because right now you just have to take everything he's saying with a grain of salt, which I feel like this guy has been pretty straightforward with his content so far, but I need the post. I need to see the post. I need to see that clip in. Otherwise, I don't, like, it puts me in a position where I don't 100% know what you're talking about. I don't know if this LinkedIn thing is real. It's like when I hear, like, I've got it from reliable sources, I'm like, so you made it up and pulled it out of your fucking dick chute.
With the consumer, supposedly. Nowhere in this post is the concept of the quality of the product ever discussed in regards to a reason as to why a person should purchase a product. In fact, this post openly admits that reviews for the game are, to quote, not great. Yet, because the game focuses on politics and identity supremacy, people are required to purchase the game in the most expensive way possible and to force other people to also buy and play it. I will not name this person in my speech. I will not address him or her directly. Firstly, in my line of work, I deal directly with CEOs and owners of multi-million-dollar businesses. I do not punch down on children, nor do I waste my time engaging with people who live in a bubble of reality rejection and who refuse to listen when adults are speaking. Instead of addressing this person, I would like to communicate directly with my colleagues working in the games industry to point out this misbehavior and malpractice. It is not our job to tell people what to do. It is not our job to tell people how to spend their money, and it is definitely not our job to control the thoughts of our customers. It is well outside of our rights to weaponize people's sexual identities and insecurities against them, so we can manipulate them into purchasing products regardless of the quality, content, or intent of the product. Our job as writers, artists, programmers, testers, and engineers is to create something fun for people to do. And on a deeper level beyond that, it is our job to give people...
Well, and here's my problem, and I know he's talked about a lot here, and we got a whole, like, cabal of things going on with my biggest issue, and what will always be my biggest issue with this entire situation, is the fact that these developers will come out with a game that is only dedicated at a small audience, a very small cut of an audience, but then they will get mad that their game's not making money back, and they will then go to vilify everybody who doesn't want to deal with their sludge fest. Sorry, you're not going to get everybody, you're not going to hit these buying quotas in your head that these massive games are going to hit that have more of a broad appeal because you've ruined that broad appeal. And a lot of these people that you're trying to appeal to, they're going to go in after the more broad appealed game because it's going to be centered more about the fun. The fun is the priority of the game. Everything about the game is fun and this priority. They're not going to go after your weird little art game. They're just not. So you're going to end up screwing yourself to where you're going to have to make statements like everybody should buy this game full price or we're not going to make our fucking money back because you made some piss poor business decisions. Because at the end of the day, this is a business venture. That's what it is. It is a business venture first and foremost, and that's just like there's no other way to go about it. You know, if you're going in the industry to make money, you shouldn't be wanting to make political fucking propaganda pieces, because that's only gonna go to a small portion who 100% agree with you, and that's just dumb. That's bad business.
Something beautiful to believe in for the short time that we are here on this earth. Our industry does not need bullies or manipulators who brainwash and take control of consumers, taking advantage of people who are not straight, who already feel alone and rejected by society. Modern companies have been using superficial, forced diversity to manipulate and use marginalized people as human shields. They hire based on gender, race, and sexual identity, not competence or talent. One cannot be taught talent, nor can one conjure skill.
Well, and I think this is a big issue. I honestly do believe this is a big issue in the industry right now, where it's like we are pandering to a certain group. We're not going to hire certain groups because we want to only click these boxes, and that's wrong. That's wrong. You should hire on the best talent for the job. And then you like, oh, well, the game does bad, but you don't like it because we did these things. Well, yeah, we have that right. You have that right as a consumer to look at something and be like, this doesn't share my values, so why should I buy it? That has nothing to, like, you can get mad at it all you want, but that's not going to change the fact that people didn't buy your shit. I'm sorry.
Skill by reciting a cult incantation in their Twitter bio. As a result, our entertainment media is poor quality, and marginalized people become the subject of resentment and hatred. I've been listening to the wants and needs of as many people as I can in the games industry. Here is my assessment. Gamers want good games. Marginalized people want to feel like they are accepted and that they belong. It is actually not complicated to achieve this, because we already had that before these activists forced their way into entertainment media industries and started throwing tantrums. 20 years ago, we had good games, and marginalized people were not being treated as separate from the rest of the population. If we had already solved this problem 20 years ago, why is it such a prominent problem now? Those activists hijacking entertainment.
Well, because now they can lecture you. Now they can lecture you, and they have the media to hold their water. That's really what's going on. I mean, the real problem is you don't hate the media enough. The media wants to divide us. It wants to make everybody angry. It wants to make everything about a culture war. And instead of it just being like, the shit sucks. Like, I'm so sick of this idea that it's like, oh, well, we need to protect this because of this and this. No, dude, I don't give a fuck. I honestly do. You can't make me care enough. It's like when I see these people here that are like, oh, well, you should be mad because of this. And I'm like, I don't need to be mad because I don't care. And well, you should though, because these people got fired because their game flopped. I'm like, I don't, like, it has no effect on me. It has no effect on me as a consumer. Now, I can look at it and be like, yeah, they were a good studio. There were some really talented people. I hope they find a new place. But it's not my job to buy a game that they released that's shitty. And this isn't even on the woke thing. This is just in general. I shouldn't be, like, they like to make the consumer feel bad that they didn't buy the product enough. And that's not our job. It's the company's job, first and foremost, to one, make a product that is satisfying and is fun, right? Two, it's to market it so that people know about that product, so that we want to go buy that product because it's fun. Three, the product will then sell well because it's a good product, it was marketed well, and people know about it. If you can't handle those first two things, the third will not happen. And once that word of mouth thing never happens, you're fucked. And now they're focusing on the wrong thing. They think they can just drop a game out of nowhere with zero marketing, but as long as it hits the right talking points in the game, the media will hold its water and will fucking browbeat the entire gaming audience to make them feel bad. And then when a studio gets closed down, it's your fault. It's not the studio's fault when it should be blamed on the studio. At least the upper management. Now, I'm not saying blame every fucking dev, right? I'm not saying that every dev deserves to lose his job if he makes a bad game. But if you're an art director or a high up art director or a game director and your game's fucking trash, you should get fired. You didn't do your job right.
Media, pushing their corporate DEI scam, sure have done a great job making sure the world grows more hateful and resentful of marginalized groups while ruining the quality of our media. DEI has done an excellent job of making marginalized people feel like they don't belong with and will never be able to agree with everyone else who is different from them. There are people working in entertainment industries, especially our games industry, who are working in bad faith. Those activists have no care or concern for the damage they cause to our industry. They care nothing of the products that they bully consumers into buying. They care about massaging their precious insecurities by forcing their feeble beliefs onto others in a desperate, vain attempt to gain validation. Unfortunately, these activists are here now. They are causing damage and are making it difficult for real developers with actual talent and skill to do their jobs. To my fellow developers, I must ask you, hang in there, stay strong, and do your best. Even if things may feel hopeless, even if things feel like they'll never get better, we are all in this together. The gamers out there understand us. They will stand by our side. As long as we stay strong, stand for what we believe in, and create the best games we possibly can. To my fellow gamers, I must request a favor of you. I know this may be difficult, and I understand entirely if you are unable to do this for me. You must make your voice heard. Speak out against the activists who are attempting to hijack your...
Well, and I think so there's something here. It's like we already have this where people are speaking out, but I just think the main problem will always boil down to we need to stop protecting every single developer, even if if they release a game that's dog shit, they should be called out. Like, they should be called out. I mean, I see it all the time where I, like Grums. Grums is fucking insufferable because Grums is always just out here, talking shit about developers when he's a fucking failed developer. He was a fucking massive failure. Like, everything he says should be taken with a grain of salt. Same with David Jaffe, who's on the other end of the spectrum, who's always touting for everything needs to be progressive. He's a fucking failure. And I just don't see where a lot of this rhetoric can be just as hurtful as anything. I think the most important thing is you should just vote with your wallet. And at a certain point, you will start to see that a lot of these games will die because they're not fun and they don't have a big appeal. And now that we're getting to the point where a lot of these companies aren't even gonna push this shit because they're sick of fucking losing money. You can only lose money for so long before it becomes a big problem, and it's a problem that needs to be solved. I mean, just look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft is Duns, and it's not just because Ubisoft is pushing woke shit. I mean, it's also because Ubisoft just hasn't made a game worth buying in a very long time. So why the fuck would I buy their games when I know that it's either the same slop I've already seen or it's just a bad, broken, microtransaction filled game? When I see Ubisoft game, I'm not thinking about the cultural repercussions and the annoying culture war shit. I'm thinking that it's a shitty Ubisoft game and I'm not going to buy it because it's probably going to be broken on launch.
Video game industry. But please be careful for friendly fire. There are gamers out there who may not be straight, who may be trans, who may not know or accept exactly what they are yet. Those people are not your enemies. Women are not our enemies. People with different skin colors are not our enemies. They are our fellow gamers. They are our people. This favor I ask of you may feel too difficult. I ask of you, no matter how much those people lash out, no matter how much they attack and insult us, no matter how much name-calling and blocking they do, I ask that you stay calm and respectful. No doubt in this video, in this comment section, you will see countless negative comments of people lashing out. I ask that instead of fighting back with insults, you reply respectfully and you simply say, I have heard you, and I accept your perspective. Thank you for making your voice heard.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I wish more people would do that, to be honest. I wish more people were a little more respectful. Now, you might think that's crazy coming from me because I like just making fun of people online. But at the same time, I just see so many people that are just so, so entrenched in their mindset that they refuse. It's almost like they're gatekeeping their opinion, and they're not willing to understand an entire perspective. Now, I usually try to go in, and even when I hear a game's woke, I'm like, oh, okay, well, why? And what's the parameters making it that way? And a lot of times it's like, well, there's going to be those people like, well, it's got a female protagonist. And I'm like, well, you're fucking retarded. That's just a dumb perspective. I'm going to play the game, and then I'm going to make my own opinion. And I think there needs to be more of that. Like, okay, well, if a game looks fun, you should buy it on the aspect that it looks fun to you. You shouldn't be worried about what the culture war thinks about it first. You should think, do I want to play this game because it looks fun? Of course, if like the game's main director comes out and says that if you have this perspective on the world, you should never touch my game, then don't touch it because they've literally told you not to play it. I understand that parameter of what's going on, but at the same time, a lot of these are just like, oh, I'm not going to play Indiana Jones because one of the developers look gay. I'm like, that's just a fucking gay mindset to have, bud. That's just like, that's like some 2000s gay. Now, I'm not talking about homosexual. No. I'm talking about fucking retarded. Like, you're being real gay about this shit, bro. And I just don't like that. It's like Indiana Jones ended up being fucking based, and now you have people that are fucking whining because, or that were fucking upset because they weren't proven right. I would rather be proven wrong. I would rather be proven wrong with almost any of these indications of something looking like it's going to be trash. I would rather than pull one underneath and then have your fucking rise from the ashes moment. Like even like Assassin's Creed Shadows. I want the game to be good. Now, I think a lot of the shit they've done to their image and all the shit that's happened up until this point, I think looks really fucking bad. But I would rather the game come out and be really good and really fun and just like a good game. I would rather it be a good game. But what I'm guessing is it's going to come out and be midder to midderson, and then what's going to keep the game relevant is the fucking race bullshit that's going to pop up because of it. That's going to be the real end-all be-all, because let's be honest, Assassin's Creed hasn't made anything that's been worth a shit in fucking like 10 years. So if we're going to be completely honest, the game's probably going to be mid and suck, and the only thing that keeps it relevant is the culture war.
We have reached a boiling point in our culture where the leaders of online movements are forcing people to believe that they must be segregated based on their sexual identity and politics. This online cult is brainwashing people into behaving like children and tearing down anyone who does not blindly agree with and echo all of their own beliefs. Look at where that has gotten us.
Again, dude, I 100% agree with this. I've said this when I've covered some of like the online figures that have like a political skew in one direction, where I say that you should criticize everyone you should criticize. You should constantly take everything you hear with a grain of salt. I did it in this video. I think this guy is speaking facts, but at the same time, I said that because he didn't put that screenshot on screen, we can't take everything he says for actual verbatim, because I don't have the screenshot proving the evidence. I think that everybody should take everything with a grain of salt. They should do all their own research. I think that if you are listening to somebody, even though they might be really popular, you should be willing to criticize them at any moment. You should be willing, even if you're a fan, to look at it and be like, you know, I don't really agree with that. And I don't think that is true. Let me look it up. And I think that as a creator as well, you should be willing to listen to some of that, like as long as it's logical. I'm not saying like the spurgs that are down in your comment section. I think that you should be willing to look at every perspective as a creator as well. I mean, even if you are vehemently one-sided, you should still be willing to listen and understand why this one side thinks that way, right? Why do the fucking retards over here think this way, and why do the fucking retards over here think this way? Make your own perspective and figure out where you sit, because you can be your own like fucking special butterfly retard at that point. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Continue down this path, there will only be more hatred, more resentment, and further segregation for marginalized people, and more sanctioned racism and sexism toward people who just want good quality video games and entertainment made by people who actually know what they are doing and who actually care. I hope you understand I am here today to discuss these topics with you, not because I derive joy from this or because I am interested in attention. Every time I publish these industry-level speeches, more people in the games industry turn towards me as an enemy and set out to tear me down however they can. I understand this, and it is a price that I have accepted I must pay to do what is right, and to do what has been asked of me by thousands of people all around the world. If there is anything you take away from today's speech, it is this: you are not obligated to purchase or support anything. No matter what anyone says, however they bully or manipulate,
This is what I've said from the beginning of this video. You're gonna see a game that is absolute trash. It's gonna be like Immortals of Avion, and you're gonna see every single media article write about it because the EA's got all of these fuckers in their back pocket, and you're gonna see how you're the problem. How this. Don't listen to any of that bullshit. Make your own opinions, but don't go out here just fucking saying any game that has like a woman or a person of color in the fucking look at this black chick they put in the game. The game's fucking woke. That's just retarded, dude. It's like, I think that you should make your own perspective and look at it and be like, yeah, dude, the Immortals of Avion's big twist being racism was fucking dumb. It was just dumb and a waste of time. And then to listen to every, like, fucking article and look at every single thing, talk about how we're the villains and how the game was actually this peak, like, godsend of, like, narrative beauty, and it's not that. And talk about how all these other excuses are why it's failed and not the fact that they made a bad game, you should be able to call that shit out. I think calling the industry out is very important, but turning into somebody like Andy Pants Gaming is just not the way to go.
no matter how much they use your sexual identity against you, no matter how much they try to indoctrinate you into their cult and convince you that anyone who is different from you is an enemy, they are wrong. You are just fine the way you are. You do not need to purchase a product just because someone says it was made for gay or trans or any other way these bullies try to manipulate people. To my fellow gamers, thank you for listening to me and for being respectful to your fellow human beings, even if it is difficult and you must swallow your pride. Even if other people are different, even if they have disagreeable attitudes and behavior sometimes. For me personally, due to my position and professional placement in the games industry, I am unable to directly engage with these activists who are ruining the industry. There is a limit to what I can say about these topics. But to my fellow gamers, and especially you content creators out there, you certainly are free to say whatever you want. Vote with your wallet, speak your mind, and make your voice heard regarding these games and studios so that we may all work together to humbly and respectfully tear these activists a new asshole. Thank you for listening. Gamers first.
So I did want to kind of look up like what this guy does, because he always talks about being in game development. Let's not do Reddit, because Reddit is like, here we go. I know he's developing a game under construction. It looks like I don't really know what they've developed. So Sunrise Studios IGN. Here we go. Let's see what so they got Shiver Down Falls, Looks like they've developed quite a few games, to be honest. I don't know, Silver Falls Gaiden? What the fuck is this? I don't know. Looks like they have a few games in development right now. I don't know if any of them are any good or anything. I see a lot of these indie developers that are like, I'm somebody, I matter, but I don't really think that he's like the biggest in the game industry. I think that I do agree with a lot of his perspective. I think that I think that it is an important message to not let game industry media, don't let game industry, like some of these big guys in the thing, tell you that you should buy this game because it's the right thing to do. It is never like, I don't care if it's like, oh, well, this guy's conservative, you should buy this game if you believe in anti-woke sentiment. Don't buy that guy's game then. You don't have to buy anybody's fucking game, and don't let them guilt you into buying any of this shit. Same thing with like, oh, well, you're gay, so you should have to buy this game. Buy it at full price. Own the chuds or own the libs. Don't listen to those fucking guys, because a lot of times the game fucking sucks. I mean, what we were talking about here, what was the game? It was called Lost Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Let's look up the actual trailer here. Let's see if there's a review. Bloom and Rage. Let's see what we got going here. Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Is there anybody who's not from IGN? I Dream of Indie Games review.
With AI, if you can think it, you can make it. But the same goes for cyber criminals.
I don't really like Game Bolt. Don't Nod. Not gonna trust her perspective. We'll just go to, let's go to the 3-minute review.
Lost Records Bloom and Rage is a narrative adventure from the creators of Life is Strange. It follows Swan, a quiet teenager in 1995, who finds an unexpected group of friends and her older self in 2022, reconnecting with those same friends after years apart. The game focuses on nostalgia, friendship, and a mystery that unfolds across 2 timelines. While it builds strong characters and an engaging small-town setting, its slow pacing and uneven storytelling hold it back.
Well, this is kind of where I saw this going, because this is a problem that most of these games that have like political, they focus on the political fucking, I don't know, what is it called? They focus on their political narratives more than the actual narrative themselves. They're trying to be fucking, how cool we are. Look how fucking progressive we are. Look the message. And you see this with like some of these conservative games too, where they only focus on this one point and they don't focus on the actual crafting of a narrative. So the actual story becomes to be an absolute clusterfuck mess instead of focusing, like in a game like this is 100% story based. So you live and die by the story. So the fact that they're focusing more on the identity politics than the actual creating a grand narrative is a problem. And I'm only 31 seconds in and I can see that problem.
Swan is a shy teenager who loves movies but doesn't have close friends. That changes when she meets Autumn, Nora, and Kat, 3 girls who stand up for her when she's being bullied. They form an instant bond, playing music together and making the most of their final summer before Swan moves away. The 1995 storyline is the strongest part of the game, capturing the feeling of teenage friendships, late-night adventures, and the kind of moments that feel like they'll last forever. The game shifts between this past and 2022, where Swan and her old friends reunite after receiving a mysterious package. They once made a pact to never see each other again, but none of them can remember why. As they reminisce, the mystery lingers in the background, but the present-day scenes lack the urgency needed to keep things moving. Instead of actively investigating, the characters mostly drink, play pool, and talk around the issue. One of the best parts of the game is how it handles nostalgia. Velvet Cove feels lived in, full of details that make the town and its characters feel real. Instead of traditional collectibles, Swan uses her camcorder to capture moments in time, which makes exploring feel more personal. The camera.
This definitely isn't a game for me, and it's not even because of like any of that. I just don't like boring ass games like this. This is fucking Snorville to me. I need something. I need action. I need fun. If I wanted to watch a movie, I'll fucking watch a movie. I don't do this shit.
Also serves as a flashlight and has some motion controls on PlayStation 5, making it one of the game's most interesting mechanics. The biggest issue is pacing. The game takes too long to establish its stakes, and the supernatural elements remain vague. The mystery is teased throughout, but there aren't enough clues to keep players engaged. Dialogue choices exist, but they don't feel meaningful, and by the time the first half ends, the story hasn't answered enough questions.
Well, and here's another problem, and I've noticed this in RPGs, where they're too scared to actually put meaningful dialogue choices in, because they've crafted the points that they want to get across to your thick fucking skull, so they're going to hit you with those points, and if you have dialogue options to avoid them, then their bullshit doesn't get put into the main forefront. And that's the problem, where it ruins your the appeal to these games are getting the different narratives, right? To go through and get these broad branching narratives because it's not a movie. But the problem is they want to be making a movie, and it sucks that they're making a game, so they're not going to put anything in that's actual meaningful.
To justify the slow build-up. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is at its best when focusing on teenage friendships and the emotions tied to growing up. The 1995 sections are engaging.
I mean that's a Gigabyte thing, but I don't really see anything that. I mean, it looks cringe as fuck. It looks like it's terrible. It's not my type of game. It's something that I'm going to avoid. But so far, the only people who have talked about it are the mainstream guys, which I don't know. Good, but 11 minutes. I don't know. It just don't look like it's for me, guys. I definitely see all the fucking canaries in the coal mine that make me not want to play this game. It just looks fucking like it's going to be annoying dialogue. It's going to be preachy. Everything about it looks like, just look how cringe this fucking thing looks. It looks cringe, dude. The whole shit looks wildly fucking annoying and shitty. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to waste my money on that shit, right? But I'm not going to go out here and talk about how it's the worst thing ever and how it's destroying the industry. And I think that the fucking, one of the main guys going on LinkedIn and talking about how you need to buy it at full price to own the chuds is fucking retarded. But at the same time, this is what you do. This is what you do. Yeah, you say the game's not for me. You don't buy the game. And you give your honest opinion of like why you're not going to buy the game. Exactly what I did. This type of genre does not appeal to me. On top of that, there's nothing interesting enough there to make me go through this fucking game. I watched that 3 minutes. Nothing looked appealing even in the slightest to me. It looked like nostalgia baiting, fucking Twitterverse bullshit. And I'm not about that, dude. I'm not about jumping into that little fucking hellhole. That's all I got for you guys today. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Have you played Lost Records, Bloom and Rage? Is it worth it? Is it trash? I want to know. I'm actually curious. It could be fucking AIDS on toast, but who am I to say? Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you later.